Welcome to another Friday Night Magic at Weekend Warlords. I'm George, as before, and I'm joined by Rob this week.
Hello.
Hi Rob, how's it going?
Alright, thank you. Yeah, how are you?
Very well. Ready?
Excited for Guilds of Ravnica?
Definitely. So, for those who aren't aware...
Is the mic actually on?
The mic is on.
Okay, good.
So, we are in fact streaming now.
I can't see any levels. Sorry, it's my first time streaming.
That is absolutely fine. So we have... On the screen here, we have Kevin versus Phil. So I'm just going to set up the overlay. Let's just double check. So we have all the way around. Kevin versus Phil. So the decks that these two players are playing, we've seen them before, both on stream and
we've got,
just generally
a wrong person on. So we've got two. So Daniel Finch is not playing. We've got someone wrong.
Okay.
Go into players.
We can just delete off Daniel and then add in.
Yeah, and then add in. What was the surname? Eaglestone. And then add a player, local players.
Where am I? Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Eaglestone.
Rick.
There's Rick. Yeah, and then current round match player, yeah. And then rounds should be...
Got Rick versus Oliver, that one?
No, because Ollie had the bye.
You want to pair matches manually then?
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So we just have to...
Repair the round.
Yeah.
We're going to repair the round. Sorry, boys.
I forget how to do this.
No.
You can do.
You can manually pair the rounds, but I can't remember.
Oh yeah, hey, right. Go delete results. Because that's just the buy. And then redo matches. Or edit matches. Create matches manually. Right, who do we have?
We need that printout.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
So we know we've got Phil versus Kev. And then we'll have to find out who else we've got. Sorry for this, these issues. We're just having to repair the round because we got one player's name incorrect. So as we were saying, Kevin Saunders is on a green-white tokens deck.
Yeah.
So we've seen... Thank you. So who else do we have? So
right,
just
you
repairing
Luke and Alex. You got Phil and Kevin. You want Justin and Sam. Joe and Daniel, who's it? Rick. And then Oliver gets the bye.
Sure.
That's fine. I think you can now go to... Oh.
No, because you have to match, so you have to just grant by.
Cool.
Done.
Perfect.
Right. So now we don't need to do anything else, so we're done. Right. Okay. Yes. We have paired the round now. Apologies for that. So Kev on green-white tokens. I believe he was toying up the idea of playing red-green, which is Linda's deck. A very powerful red-green deck filled with Chain Whirlers and Glory Bringers and Hazarets.
Yeah, as you would expect from a red deck in this standard format.
Absolutely. Whereas he has decided, in fact, play his green-white tokens list, which
I know he loves.
and it's his last chance to play it before
and he made a
takes out.
PPTQ top 8 with it.
He
so
did.
It can't be that bad.
It's definitely not that bad. It has some very explosive wins. Appeal to Authority being a brutal card when it's aimed at a 1/1 double striking cat.
Are they good to begin?
Yes,
yeah.
they can get started. We
Thank
can
you.
get started on the rounds. So that's the timer started. So let's just update these players on what they're playing. So we have Kevin on Salisbury. And we have Phil on... Well, we'll have to see what Phil's playing. Last time we saw him play, he was on a control deck. I think it might have been an Esper control deck last time.
Okay.
But...
Did you see who won the roll?
No.
No.
Who was it?
It was me, but do you want us to do it again?
No, that's fine.
I think it might be Esper control.
No, that was just Phil informing us that he had won the die roll. So we now know who's on the play.
Not
what does Kevin's hand look like?
So he's got a Schley in there, Pride of Conquerors.
Yeah, 2 lands.
2 lands.
This is pretty much the ideal hand for this deck, apart from...
And then Phil is not on control.
Ooh.
Phil is on a red-black deck. So I saw Chainwhirler in that hand, a Heart of Kieran. So
Yeah.
significantly
any
different
black
to what he
cards?
was playing.
Oh yeah, it was this one.
There's a Dragon Skull Summit in there, so I imagine that's for Scrap Heap Scrounger, Unlicensed Disintegration,
Yeah.
maybe some Duresses and whatnot out of the sideboard.
Do you expect anything spicy from Phil?
I don't think so. Phil is quite a competitive player. I imagine he will probably be playing a very competitive deck, which
Yeah.
by this point, approaching, well, only a week away from rotation,
Yeah,
I expect
it is
this.
his last chance to play it.
And this deck has been solved for quite some time, so I imagine Phil's playing a pretty typical list.
It looks like I was wrong about Kevin's hand because he sent it back and taken 6.
So we've got Shefford Dunes, the Plains, struggling to see what else is in that hand, but he is keeping.
It's got what looked like a land at the bottom.
And the players are off.
Tap land.
Not the most exciting starts from these two aggressive decks.
I expect we'll see tap land a lot going forward as well because the shocks are in now.
Well, surely that means less tap lands. Surely that means shock, check land, boom, off we go.
Yeah, but how many 1-drops do you want to cast?
Ooh, so this is the 2-mana legend. This is, I believe it has power and toughness X and X, or X is the number of creatures you control, so just
That's
a 1-1
correct.
in the moment.
And it can't be targeted by abilities your opponents control, but it can be targeted by spells.
Very relevant against something like, say, Glorybringer.
Yeah. Shanna, I think is the name of the card. Sisei's Legacy.
Yes, absolutely right. So,
Phil's off to a great start here.
Phil using all his mana since that very first turn.
So that's now a
Marshall.
3-3.
Absolutely. So do you think Kev's... The thing is, Phil's deck is arguably more consistent, but it can't deal 15 damage in a turn out of nowhere. Kev's deck, on the other hand, definitely can.
Yeah.
So
You say out of nowhere, it does need a little bit of setup.
it does need some amount of creatures, some amount of token generators generally.
It looks like Phil's got at least one shock. I didn't see what else he might have for dealing with. If Kevin goes for the kill, Phil might well have a response.
Indeed. So Kev's got another
fact.
copy of that legend in his hand, which isn't exciting for him. And he does have a servo exhibition from the looks of things, so yeah, it's one of the token makers to get him started. Oof. Lightning Strike, though, takes that down. Ouch.
Looking at Phil's hand, I think he's in great shape this game. Kevin's mulligan not helping him.
Still able to use every single bit of mana every turn for Phil. And Kev, trapped with a second copy of that legend in hand, he's just...
So if Kev gets back into this game, what do you think that looks like?
Well,
He's going to need something to stop the Heart of Kirin. Is he running anything that can kill it?
I believe he has a copy of Cast Out.
Okay, that'll help.
I can't think of much else, to be honest, in the main of this deck.
Yeah, if he activates Shalai, he can block it, but he's still 2 turns off that.
I think what Kev needs to see here is he needs Shram's Exhibition, create 3
Expertise,
token,
yeah.
expertise, into another token generator,
Yeah.
so ending up with 5 tokens,
He's already got the Servo Expedition, so we're nearly there.
and then an appeal to authority on something like the Shana.
Yeah, I think so.
But then looking at Phil's hand, he's still full of action.
Yeah, in fact, he might be able to go for the kill this turn if he's feeling bold.
Shana having to take the block there in the Soulscar Mage puts him in a bad position to a kill spell.
Was that a block with Shalai as well?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, of course Phil can't do that. Because
Still attempting to target the...
I thought he was trying to bolt the face, and Shalai gives hexproof.
It does.
But
And that was what he was trying to do.
oh, okay, but he does it on Shalai instead because the Soulscar Mages make it.
The prowess triggers on the Soulscar Mages still take out the Shana anyway.
Yeah, and it shrinks the Shalai permanently.
Indeed.
So
So, Servo Exhibition, we might see another copy of the legend. There we go.
yeah, I think think Kevin was happy to trade the first one.
But then Kevin has to chump with Shalai here, which isn't a particularly exciting prospect. Or if Phil's got a removal spell, that's just the end of
Yeah,
it.
he's dead to anything, isn't he? Yeah, that should do it.
That is it, and Kev scoops him up. A very, very fast game one. For a game that began with 2 tap lands,
Yeah,
they are still 2 very aggressive decks.
it feels like a bad matchup for Kevin.
I think so too.
It needs a lot of pieces to come together.
So what does a good matchup look like for Kevin then? Because Control was not a good matchup.
Well, I've spoken to him and he says he quite likes playing against Control.
Oh really?
He
Okay.
thinks the deck presents enough threats, one after the other, that
Yeah.
Control decks struggle to get a lot of value off their wraths, and they can run them out of spot removal. So
Interesting. Okay.
he thinks that matchup's reasonably favourable. I think you had him on stream talking about this last week.
We did.
Yeah. He joked that it has no good matchups, but I actually think the deck's quite strong.
You've in fact played Kev's deck at one point,
I have,
didn't
yeah.
you?
I was thinking about playing it in a, what was it, a PPTQ we went to?
Yep.
But chickened out. I know it was,
The RPTQ,
yeah, the RPTQ.
Team Unified Standard. So we had to
Yeah.
choose 3 distinctly different decks.
Exactly. It has the advantage of not sharing very many cards with other decks.
That's true.
'Cause it's quite a linear strategy, but in the end, blue white control, just like everybody else.
Yeah. But it wasn't a particularly great RPTQ for us, was it?
No.
Was it? But it's the first RPTQ I've ever been to.
Same.
Hopefully it won't be the last.
Got a free Noble Hierarch.
We did.
Free-ish.
Free-ish. Yes, we had to pay entry, but...
So, the players are sideboarding. What do you think Kevin's going to do? Phil's playing a Chain Weller deck. Kevin really struggles with Chain Weller. He makes a bunch of 1/1s and then he'll die.
So we did discuss this last week when Kevin was on the stream. He runs a number of answers to Chainweiler. Chainweiler doesn't frighten him that much. So he's got cards like Heroic Intervention.
Okay, yeah.
He has other cards specifically designed for Chainweiler, like Charge.
Yeah, the dubious charge. I have seen this tech in Kevin's sideboard.
And Pride of Conquerors as well.
Yeah,
Just a lot of mass buff spells.
Pride seems very good in the deck in general.
I
Having
think so.
it also as an answer to Chain Weller, I like. It's very flexible.
And you turn on the City's Blessing really quickly in this deck.
Yeah.
Theoretically, what do you think the earliest turn for the City's Blessing is? 4?
You can make Legion's Landing on 1, so
Yes.
that's 3. And then on turn 2 you just make 2 tokens.
Yep.
So that's 2 lands, Legion's Landing, 3 tokens, 6. Probably do it on turn 3.
Okay. Wow.
I imagine he's got a 3 drop that makes the last 4. Maybe not. Maybe it is 4 that the earliest he can do it. He can
Interesting.
definitely do it on 4 though.
Yeah.
With a whole number of different cards. Phil, I don't think needs to change his deck very much in this matchup.
I think it's very strong already. What about leaving? Do you like leaving the shocks in?
Yeah, I love leaving the shocks in. Appeal is a sorcery. Appeal is
Yes.
Kevin's game plan, and shock just stops it.
Well, only when he's targeting something small. If you're
Sure.
on like a Shalai or a Shana or...
Sure, it means Kevin can't rely on his double strikers. He has to put it on a bigger creature.
Yeah, very true. Interesting.
But it does that whether or not it's left in the deck. So maybe he shaves a couple of copies,
Well,
make Kevin play around it.
the players are just drawing their opening 7. Hopefully Kev will be able to keep 7 this time.
Yeah, and he's on the play, which I think is big in this matchup. We saw what Phil was able to do on the play.
Shana,
That is a charge, isn't it? He's brought them in.
there's a charge. Can't see what the other card there Kev's got though, but it's not the most exciting hand, but I think it probably is a keep.
I think it looks good enough. I can't tell what the 2 cards...
Phil's hand on the other hand looks really weak. 4 lands, a Chandra, 2 Heart of Kiran.
I think you have to put that back in this matchup.
Yeah, there's
doesn't
no
do anything,
interaction,
does it?
there's no...
I mean, the second heart is already effectively mulligan to 6, and 4 lands Heart Chandra is not a good 6.
No. But
But
Phil is
Kevin-
keeping.
Phil's keeps it, kept it.
Shock off the top will help him get to that Chandra though.
Yeah. Is one of those lands in Phil's hand a cycling land, a canyon slough? I can't quite tell.
No, it looks like a Dragon Skull Summit to me.
Shana, of course,
Ooh,
being...
was that a Chain Whirler off the top, though? Because if it was a Chain Whirler off the top, so this reasonably poor-looking hand is now looking quite exciting.
Yeah, I think Phil's been... The top of his deck's been very kind to him.
Ouch. So what's Kev got he can do here? He's got the double striking cat. That's a start, I guess.
Yeah.
The charge will protect it from the Chain Whirler.
Yeah. Which you have to assume is happening this turn.
Again, it's not the most
Oh.
exciting of
That's not a chain whirler.
Piano Alarm.
Okay,
Maybe Phil thinks he can get more value out of the Chain Whirler if he waits a little bit longer.
maybe. And this does still prove heart if that's what he wants to do.
Indeed.
This does leave Phil defenceless, but I'd be very surprised if Kevin can actually...
Deal 20.
Yeah.
So... Right then, Kevin.
Just gets him for 2.
He's got another copy of that cat.
This is starting to get dangerous for Phil.
I mean, charge with 2 cats out is quite a lot of damage in itself.
It is. Phil's going to be looking at this chain whirler thinking it's going to...
Clear out both
Yeah.
those cats.
Oh,
That looks like what he's going to do.
yeah. Kevin proved me wrong about charge once again.
Kevin very quickly casting a charge. Of course, if Phil had a Soulscar Mage out, it wouldn't be that great of an
Yeah.
answer, would it?
That is the danger with running charge.
But then none of his other answers would help either.
No,
The
he
Indestructible
needs
one,
to
Pride of
find a way to
Conquest,
kill
this-
the Soulscar Mage. Oh, this is pretty much Kevin's nightmare matchup, isn't it?
It is, very much so. A lot of interaction and 4 copies of Chain Whirler.
Yeah, and the Soulscar Mage to just beat all the things that he was trying to do to prevent losing from Chain Whirler.
Very much so.
He's getting aggressive. See what Phil wants to do.
So he does have a SRAM's expertise in hand. Can't see what else is in Kev's hand.
Happy to trade, okay.
Well, if he plays the land here, can he get it back from the graveyard?
Yeah, you're right. Next turn you can eternalize it. Ooh, that's pretty strong.
Naturalise on the Heart Kieran.
Yeah,
Oof.
I was wondering what that green card in Kevin's hand was. Naturalise out of the sideboard is very good.
Does leave him very weak to a second copy of Chain Whirler, but doesn't look like Phil's got it. So, and Chandra doesn't look particularly exciting from Phil's side. Is that in 3 lands? Is it?
Yeah,
Ouch.
now Phil's in trouble. Do you think Kevin's decided here that he can't beat a second copy of Chain Whirler, whatever he does, so he just doesn't worry about it?
I think so. Of course, that second copy of Heart Kieran not looking so dead now,
True.
and the Chandra meaning he can crew it. I'm surprised to
He's a
see
canyon
Phil
slew,
play out the
yeah.
cycle land here.
Same.
Seems like he's got
Is
more
there-
than enough mana.
Is there anything he's trying to build up to? Maybe a Banefire?
I don't see him bringing Banefire in this
No.
matchup. It's not the most exciting card against Kev's deck. Another copy of SRAM's expertise, it looks like, in Kev's hand. This replay would be good. SRAM's expertise naturalise.
Yeah. And of course, Chandra can crew the Heart of Kieran by
Kev's-
removing a royalty.
Kev's cycling a land. Ooh, Appeal to Authority.
Well, that's where the win starts for Kevin, but he doesn't have enough creatures to go for it yet.
But he does get to kill the Chandra with it.
True.
So does that make that a 5/5 double strike trample?
5 double strike, yeah.
I mean, Chandra dies here. You don't crew the Heart of Kieran here, do you? There's no
No, it's whether or not Kevin attacked Phil or Chandra.
interesting. I suppose it is 10 damage coming across.
Yeah, it must be quite tempting to attack Phil directly because he either blocks, still takes 6,
Yeah.
and loses Heart of Kieran, or he doesn't lock and goes to 8. And then the fact that, do you know what Authority does for Kevin?
So that taps down 2 creatures, doesn't it?
Exactly. So it cuts off Phil's ability to block, and it looks like he did go to the face.
Wow.
Phil just took it.
Glorybringer though for Phil. How does that help? Well, Phil has lethal here now with the Heart of Kieran plus Glorybringer.
Yeah, looks like it, and I don't think Kevin. I don't know. Is it just Shram's expertise?
I believe that's the last card in his hand.
Yeah.
Certainly nothing for a single planes that would answer. No Path to Exile, I'm afraid.
Yeah. One can only wish.
Well, we've got Shocklands very soon, so maybe Path isn't that ridiculous. Well, we've got Assassin's Trophy.
Assassin's Trophy is very strong.
Ouch. I don't think there's anything Kev can do here. There we go.
Yeah.
And a very quick game 2 as well to Phil, so very well done to Phil there.
Yeah.
Taking down Kevin 2-0. Very unfortunate that, let's see, a really tough matchup for Kev. I always find it exciting seeing his deck on stream.
Yeah.
It's really exciting. Ooh, we've got 2-0 to Alex Pegler as well. Very well done to Alex Pegler, taking down Luke. So if you were playing Standard tonight, what deck would you be playing?
I haven't really thought about it. There's no decks that I want to revisit before they rotate, because I got the Drakes out of my system 2 weeks ago.
The Cycling Drakehaven deck.
Cycling Drakehaven deck. So, yeah, I haven't really thought about it. Blue-white control, maybe.
Interesting.
But I don't own any Teferi's. It seems like a requirement.
I feel like the kind of deck you would really appreciate playing is the Bant Teferi Turbo Fog that I had together.
That would be fun.
Taking infinite turns. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I feel like against all of these decks, well, at least certainly Kev's and Phil's, my deck's quite well positioned. Kev goes all in on one thing, one turn, and a fog does hurt that game plan somewhat. And Phil also hasn't got a huge amount of ways to interact with me. I always found red-black one of my best matchups.
If I didn't cycle, if the peel was on the top instead of cycling to it.
Yeah.
Kev just sharing his bad beat story.
Yeah, we saw it all unfold live. I think Kevin played well. I don't fault his play. I think Phil's deck was very kind to him after a sketchy keep.
It was a very sketchy keep, and the second half Kieran was essentially a mulligan, but unwound Kev's naturalise. So very well played by both players. Now, Rob, we have 25 minutes before the next round.
Yeah.
Unless you just wish to discuss Standard in general, we could play a game of Magic Arena if you fancied it.
Yeah, go on then. The Guilds of Ravnica are on there, right? So I think a lot of players either watching the stream or playing FNM tonight are waiting for the midnight pre-releases for Guilds of Ravnica. So doing some limited preparation for that is always good. I've actually done a bit of homework.
Have you?
So I had a friend who always used to do this before the pre-release, and he would make a record of every combat trick that was available in the format.
Wow, goodness me.
So if, let's say, picture the scene, George. You've made a 3-3 on turn 3 and passed the turn to your opponent. Your opponent's playing Salisbury, they've got plains and a forest and a 2-2 in play. Okay. They make a guild gate and they attack into your 3-3 with their 2-2. What could they have?
So there's a 1 mana pump spell that gives a creature +2/+2 and you gain 1 life for each attacking creature.
Yeah.
They could also have green, white, green. I don't think I've played enough of the. I don't think I've looked at enough of it to know. That's the only one that I can think of off the top of my head. But
okay, so there's another 1 mana one that costs a red and white hybrid. They could have that also gives +2/+2.
Okay.
The card Integrity of it's a split card. I don't know what the other side does, but I like that one. I think it's a good role player. You've got Might of the Masses, which will give it +1/+1 and trade with your 3/3, which I
Okay.
think you're fine with.
Yeah, that's fine. It's still
Um,
trading 1 for 1.
There's a rare that I think would be the best card for them to possibly have in this situation.
1/1 and indestructible.
Exactly.
And it's got the flips. You can cast the other side instead if you prefer.
Yeah, that gives you 3 2/2s, I believe.
3 2/2s with vigilance, and you can
Yeah.
cast that instant speed as well.
That's very strong.
Generally,
And
I've not been that interested in casting. That card is so powerful at 6 mana that generally I don't use it as a
Yeah.
pump spell unless I absolutely have to.
most important thing about that card is that it gives a +1/+1 counter. It's not just +1/+1 to
Oh, interesting.
Which is why it'd be the best in that situation. In general, I think you would block in that situation
Yeah.
100% of the time. Because even if they're trading their turn and a combat trick for your 3/3, you're happy.
So,
Is this being streamed?
it's not. We've not managed to get. It's just the cameras, I'm afraid, so we can't get a Magic Arena on here.
Hang on.
There we go. Yep. Perfect. There we go. There we go. We're able to, and then we just transition. Transition our game back in. And here we go. So we have Alex Pegler versus Joe Quilty. Now, Alex Pegler, last time he was here...
There's no sound. I thought the mic was off. Try hitting these.
It's calculated. Yeah, no, he's sort of, no, didn't he play it?
No, I've just said it's okay. I'm not even playing.
I'll do even.
No, I'm not playing.
It's Stevens.
I say, why did you just off Liam went, did you put
It is.
And you went, no, I told you. Got me. So no.
I thought I'd get the ones out.
Then shovel.
Yeah. Like I say, lucky. And then we'll leave those just in case. So I'm 200 points of the realm. So it's your choice. I'm 5, 4. Oh, yes. Yes. No, it's but I had to paint them all myself. That was the only.
I'll keep mine.
I'll keep my
Part of
two.
me wishes I'd gone to buy the same token, buy whatever token. So it's me first, because they come painted. Tell me, oh, they're taking, because you can't paint them green, you get painted white. I put some all white on. I bought them all black, yeah. It was like, so... No, they do look good. There's taking quite a bit of, yeah. I had to buy loads more charge tokens because I just didn't have.
Yes.
Didn't have enough charge tokens to run my list properly. So. Yeah. Well, to be honest, I was just using the bomb.
Let's go with that.
The bomb tokens.
Yes. What it says is exactly
Yeah. So, I've not even looked at it. That list looks horrible.
I've heard TIE Defenders are alright.
Yeah.
And I've heard Whisper's alright. So I put the two together and go.
There's actually quite the new ones. Yeah. So has she tried Rex? No.
I've got the rest of it.
She's going to swing it around, I think, and have a bit of change.
Yeah.
She's a bit like me, stickler.
Oh yeah, this crikey is, yeah. Hence the robots.
Yeah.
Yes, my walk. I've got two.
Go.
End of turn, I'll mill
Yeah,
myself
so
for
I
3.
like Whisper, I like those three. What else?
It is.
Star Wings. It works alright actually, but this is in the second one.
Did I keep those in my wall? Well, I'd have to see what they're like, because I flew some of those at a tournament here and hated every second.
Even just hitting something.
I never flew one.
Just he's got a vision. So now he's
It's basically the old title. So if we're both at range 1 in arc, I get an evade. So basically, yeah, so while you...
Good thing I only have guns out of the turrets, they're real
I
good.
think that was so cool, it's one of the medium face.
Yeah, the medium's good.
I've had them since they came out. Do you know how many times I've had them? 0. Still there.
You're 3, mate.
Yes, I have 3.
You should go back to the Wookiees now.
I think I might try that.
Tuesday night, it was only a fun game.
Cool.
I loved it. Just like 4 of them. Four
Well,
naked
it's-
ones.
yeah.
That was it. And I really enjoyed it.
Because what with dice variants now, where you literally start rolling whatever, I know you can't stop everything, but you're really going to roll.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I didn't have to think about all my upgrades. I literally just
Well,
got
no,
4 ships.
is it just 4 Wookiees at that 200 points,
Yeah.
the 50 each? Over, yes. No idea what they're doing. I should have looked. I've not even looked at the dials. Like just like Tuesday night. I was shocked to see that at the end that barrel roll that I did that was white was red.
End of turn.
Oh, there was all sorts of cheating going on that. And it was on the stream, so they must have thought, oh, Kev's lost it. He's right, so it's not the end. Basically, I want to get into range one. I want to be very aggressive. So I want to get them all to range one, really.
Strategic planning. Yep.
Cool.
What was experience with this?
I've also been around as well. There was one card, was it freelance slice? If you got a target, you could
Spend it on jams and
yeah.
shooting you. 50 gems sales. I'm trying to do you like that.
Yeah.
You're going to play.
We're going to see, for the last minute, we're going to see about going in.
Let's see. So we want the desktop audio.
Wait, scroll down, scroll down.
It's the big blue mic we want, this one.
It is on.
It's on, so maybe they were just overhearing that. So now that we've muted that, they'll hear us.
Yeah, let's mute these other ones as well. It's definitely on.
It's because John was having a play with the settings because I'm doing a box opening, not a box opening, a pre-release pack opening, and discussing my deck choices and how I go about building a deck. So the mic is obviously out in the main room ready for that. So I have to make sure to do that as well. So here comes the refurbish from Joe. Targeting Godfarer's Gift, which comes into play. Now I suppose if Pegler had something like a cast out here before combat,
Yeah, we could prevent Joe from getting a trigger, but
it doesn't look like that's the case.
this game looks over.
Yes, you're absolutely right. There's not a great deal else.
Can you imagine if Pegler cast far?
There are some white fogs. Interesting. This is essentially what we're watching here is Joe win the game.
Yeah.
He gets his additional combat stat, which triggers Godfarer's Gift to get back another combat celebrant.
And of course, when combat celebrant attacks, it untaps all the other creatures, so the other combat celebrant is free to attack.
So this is infinite extra combat stats.
It's not infinite. Combat celebrant can only exert once each turn.
Okay.
So, but it's going to be more than enough with the number of 4/4s. Oh, no sound at all when we were on Arena. Okay, we'll have to fix that.
Ah, okay.
In fact, I really don't know.
Big blue. Done. I have been meaning to set up a streaming rig at home. The difficulty is I have no internet.
Ah, yeah.
Well, I have internet, but at last speed test it was 0.2 meg.
That's going to struggle.
Very much so. We have been promised by the MP that we are getting some internet eventually.
I see.
I'm not filled with hope.
MPs make a lot of promises. I think Joe is explaining to Alex quite how dead he is.
Interesting. So this is Joe explaining to Alex, I'm going to get this back, and then I'm going to get another combat step, and then I'm going to get this back, and then I'm going to get this,
another
copy it.
And they're all 4/4s and they'll get untapped.
And so I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 5 extra combat steps with the Vizier.
I believe it's 4 extra. He's got 3 celebrants and then 1 Vizier.
Okay, 4 extra combat steps, but
5 combat steps with an ever increasing number of 4/4s.
is more than enough to do it.
Yeah. So Alex says, go on, play it out, and Joe will oblige. Attacks,
Exert.
Taps these 2.
Joe just using the upside down creature to indicate that it is in fact exerted.
Yeah.
Alex, I imagine, is just he's thinking about how he can save the most damage, but I think the difficulty for his position now is that Joe just gets to go off now.
Yeah. From experience, once the Godfarer's Gift gets this far, it's over. Alex needed to have something to answer the Godfarer's Gift before it ever activated.
Yes.
Because otherwise, even if he answers the board, Joe still gets the additional combat step and still gets to continue the combo.
What about Settle the Wreckage here?
Settle
Pegler
is
passed
good.
with 4 mana up.
So Settle is good at answering Godfarer's Gift, but he's still going to get another combat step because the combat celebrant gets to exert when it attacks.
And that's Pegler scooping his cards out.
Yeah. And that's the power of these linear strategies.
So Rob, while we've got a couple of minutes between games, do you want to head out to the players and see if you can get an idea of sideboarding? And also, can you drag the iPad down just a little bit so we can see some life totals here? There we go. Perfect. So the problem is that there aren't that many graveyard decks in Standard currently, so I can't imagine Alex Pegler is packing much graveyard hate. Not that the graveyard hate in Standard is particularly amazing. So Joe, on the other hand, probably looking for some wraths. Some wraths out of the sideboard, which is quite good for him. We've sent Rob out just to have a look, see what we could possibly find from these players, but no. Joe does appear to be pulling out some amount of cards. So, quite an impressive performance from Joe there, taking quite a not quite infinite, but enough combat steps to just kill Alex Pegler, even through 2 9 blockers. So, what have you seen from the sideboards of these players?
Well, Joe doesn't have a good idea what Alex is playing.
Okay.
He knows he had a blue-white land in play,
Yes.
a history of Benalia, and that's about it. So I think Joe's sideboarding will be very light here. He knows he's against a creature deck.
Yep.
He had an Hour of Devastation I could see him bringing in.
Yep.
Alex, on the other hand, is bringing in Authority of the Consoles, which
yeah.
of course makes Joe's creatures enter tapped. From experience, it's good, but it's not. It doesn't stop the combo.
No.
Alex doesn't know that it doesn't stop the combo because he thought it stopped the combo. But it just means that Joe needs to begin the turn with the combat celebrant in play. So
Yes.
once he fulfills that requirement, it will then untap all the ones that he gets back. They untap each other when they come back.
It does add another hoop for Joe to have to jump through.
Which might be enough if Alex can kill him.
It might. So essentially, it's slowing him down by 1 turn,
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
By 1 Godfarer's
It
Gift
also
activation.
gives Alex an opportunity to find removal for the combat celebrant, for instance.
Indeed.
Because it is only a 3/1.
Yes.
4/1.
Well, 4/4 when it comes back from the
Yeah.
graveyard, but interesting.
So I was looking through Alex's deck to see what the blue splash was for, and I could only see 3 dive down the main deck for blue cards.
Dive down.
Which
Interesting.
I thought was an odd choice. He's got a couple of shell eyes, nothing out of the ordinary that I would expect from a mono white deck. Apart from dive down, so we'll have to see. I might have missed something.
Interesting.
I had a look at his sideboard. I thought it might be for some blue cards, but he's not bringing in negates. I didn't see if he had any negates, but he's certainly not bringing them in. Despite this being a matchup where you'd think negate is pretty powerful.
You'd almost certainly want to bring negate in if you had it. So interesting. I mean, generally, I have to think that if you were playing a blue deck, you'd probably want some negates in the sideboard.
I agree. It's especially good in aggressive decks that can just splash blue.
Yes.
Counter the wrath. So
play the, or even just play the tempo game against the spot removal.
Yeah.
So Joe has a 1-lander there.
Yeah, it's going straight back.
Yes.
I don't think we've seen Alex's hand. Oh, there it is.
History of Benalia.
A lot of lands.
And yeah, quite a few lands. I mean, History of Benalia is a very powerful card.
Yeah. But it was one of 2 spells that he cast last game. It didn't do that much.
No, it didn't.
We did forget to do this one, but you've sorted that.
Unfortunately, their timer is wildly inaccurate.
Oh well.
A real professional streamer running here Rob today, isn't
it? Yeah. Oh well, live and learn, eh?
That's right. It'll be much better when we have our arena stream. You about Monday?
Monday, I can probably do Monday.
Sweet. Well, join us back join us back on Monday for a draft.
Stream, yeah. We'll be drafting Guilds of Ravnica.
If there's a Guilds of Ravnica.
If there are pre-release drafts on Arena.
Might have to be sealed otherwise, if you fancy playing that format.
I certainly don't want to play the format that's just rotating out, so...
Joe with some lands, refurbish.
Joe's 6 looks a lot better.
What a genius for Alex. Looking very much like a control deck with these lands.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm curious what Alex's game plan is, because it wasn't immediately obvious looking through the deck.
Interesting. Discarding Godfather's Gift seems like a very good, strong start.
Yeah. It's 1 combo piece assembled. I mean, Joe's combo is deceptively large. He needs a large number of pieces to be where they need to be, but mostly that's in the graveyard. And his deck's very good at getting them there.
I mean, he's already got the difficult bit, which is a refurbish in hand.
Yeah.
It's very easy to dig through the rest of the deck to fill your graveyard.
Yeah.
What has he got here? I suppose Champion of Wits is the premium 3-drop in Joe's deck. Combat Celebrant. So that was 2-0 to Kev Saunders taking down Sam Kirk. Very well done to Kev.
Yeah, green-white tokens apparently working.
Phil's won 2-0.
And Phil Dyke taking down a little pass.
So both players that we saw
2-0.
last round.
2-0?
Yeah.
So Alex is in exactly the same position he was at this stage last game. A history and 4 lands in play, 2 knights. And Joe does have the Combat Celebrant now.
Yeah, it's hard cast it. What do you think Joe's plan will be now?
I mean, I'd probably want to trade that Combat Celebrant, wouldn't you? I mean, you've got no creatures in the graveyard, and that does get rid of a knight and save some damage.
I agree. History of Benalia, if you let it go to its ultimate chapter, represents a lot of damage.
Indeed.
I imagine that's what Joe's thinking about now.
And
on the other hand, keeping Combat Celebrant in play lets him go off with less resources elsewhere.
But at the moment he has nothing in the graveyard for... So even if... He's got the land and he can refurbish, but he's got not a single creature to bring back. I would have liked blocking there, and then you can immediately bring it back as a 4-4.
True.
And you'd be in exactly the same position, but you'd have a 4-4 and the Godfarer's Gift in play.
True, but if that 4-4 gets answered in some way, you are left with nothing.
But then this 4/1 could be answered exactly the same
But
thing.
then it's in the graveyard and you can dig it back up later when you're ready to go off.
Well, I mean, it's a blue-white deck, so you have to think that most of the removal is probably exile or bounce based anyway. So
That is true. It is largely only good for combat, I suppose, if you want it in the graveyard.
I suppose there's different ways of looking at this, and Joe obviously has a lot more experience playing this deck than I do.
Ooh,
Shall I like that. I like that a lot.
yeah, I do too. It means the exile removal can't be pointed at the combat side of things.
Indeed.
And if his Vizier does get killed, it's another combat piece.
And it blocks the other Shall I?
Yeah, it does.
It just bounces off because History Benign only affects knights.
And Alex gets his trigger. Slightly out of order sequencing, but it's casual.
It's a
Well,
Fred No Magic.
It's FNO. So all those knights are huge.
4/3s. I mean, with the refurbish in hand, I really don't hate the idea of just going block
Yeah,
on the knights, get both of those cards into the graveyard,
seems reasonable to me.
leave Pegler with nothing but a Shall I in play.
Now, history doesn't pump Shalai, does it?
It does not. Shall I is still just a 3/4 because it's not a knight. It's an angel. Interesting. So, block and he's not blocking with the Vizier. He's trying to keep protection up for the. I'd probably be blocking the Shalai with the Vizier Shalai.
Yeah, it seems like you can't get punished for that.
Yeah.
Joe just playing ultra conservative, perhaps. Maybe he knows his life total doesn't matter. Maybe he's got something in hand that we can't see.
Can't imagine what he'd have for 4 to 5 mana.
Alex just passes the turn with 5 mana. Do you think he's got something?
I have a very strong feeling that Pegler does play Settle the Wreckage, so we'll cast out for the Godfarer's Gift in the graveyard when it comes back. Ooh, Angel of Sanctions.
So Joe's doing a very good job of just playing a mid-range value deck here. The only legal target for Angel of Sanctions, of course, Shalai.
Indeed.
And his own Shalai gets it, sure.
Start turning your creatures sideways.
Where's Alex at 17? Isn't that only a 2-3?
No, Shalai is a
Oh,
3/4.
Shalai's a 3/4.
Yes. It sits nicely out of Lightning Strike range. So what have we got here? Pegler just
Up to
sacking
6
the
mana.
Memorial.
Oh yeah.
No, just down to 5 because he had to sack he sacked the land at the end of.
Isn't Memorial 5 to something?
It's a good question.
Do you want me to go and stop the players? I think it's gone too far to rewind anyway, to be honest.
It is. It's not just 5, it's 5 and
tap.
the.
Yeah. So Alex was not able to make that play, but I believe it's gone too far to rewind, so...
Lyra here. Another foil Lyra. Another foil card.
His deck is gorgeous. I was looking through it during sideboarding. It's pretty much all foil. It doesn't show up with the camera, apart from the Lyra that's immediately under the light.
Having the pre-release promo ones is quite helpful somewhat because you get to see the.
Yeah.
So here we go. Refurbish targeting Godfarer's Gift.
Yeah. Is Joe ready to go off, or is this just value? He's got nothing else.
Lyra's not something you really want to be attacking into. Because it just eats one of your 4/4s and gains 5 life every time you get an extra combat step. I don't.
So this is a Godfarer's Gift for value and past the turn,
think so.
unless Joe's got some bounce spell perhaps for Lyra.
I don't know if the Godfarer's Gift deck plays much in the bounce spells. Minister of Enquiries, obviously, ×2 will
Okay.
help find some other things for that Godfarer's
So
Gift.
now he's setting up. He's saying to Alex, kill me, or I will kill you.
And it's,
Fair, I suppose.
It's not the worst idea either to just chump this Lyra with your Vizier and then get your own Lyra to start attacking with.
Yeah.
Interesting. Quite a grindy matchup, this, isn't it?
Having your own Lyra, though, if it's come back off the Godfarer's Gift, is it a 4-4 or 5-5?
It's a 4-4.
I don't think it is.
No, it's not. It comes back. It would be a 4-4 on the stack. As soon as it enters the battlefield, it becomes a copy of Lyra, and therefore would be a 5-5.
I believe that's how it works, yeah.
Interesting. So I think what Joe's probably thinking about is Alex Pegler holding up blue mana. The reason why he may not went for the Godfarer's Gift before this, Ixalan's Binding.
So it doesn't stop Joe from casting more refurbishes, but if he's got any Godfarer's Gifts, they're trapped in his hand until he can discard them.
Which isn't overly, but it is an answer for this Godfarer's Gift, kind of more key. From the baffling ending.
Most mana cost 3 or less.
It is.
So it works. I think what Joe's thinking about now is how can I get this Vizier to die? Because he wants to bring it back as a copy of Angel, and the copy of Angel can exile the Ixalan's Binding.
This is Joe just pointing out that the Shalai means the baffling end can't target the combat celebrant.
And in fact can't target the Shalai because it's too expensive.
Indeed. Leaving that card just kind of rotting in Alex's hand for the time being.
Yeah.
Most exciting. Joe just trying to figure out the wording of Ixalan's Binding, I think, trying to figure out if he can bring her back from the graveyard still.
Yeah.
Which he absolutely can.
Joe plays this deck very conservatively.
He does.
He doesn't try to go for it before he knows he can.
Oh, another Angel of Sanctions.
That was a good draw, wasn't it?
Well, not overly. He taps out to do that, unless he can find something off these ministers.
So let's say he just eats Lyra with the new Angel and then just attacks with all of his creatures.
And gets an additional combat step. So you could attack for 3, 6, times 12, plus 4. Yeah, So do you like the idea of angeling the Lyra here, or angeling the...
Well, I did until he put 2 combat celebrants in his graveyard.
Wow, goodness me. But still, you can't really attack into the Lyra, can you?
Yeah, I think you have to still angel Lyra. It's a tough call.
I think if you angel Lyra, then you get to attack for 3, 6, 10 and take an extra combat step.
Yeah.
Pegler probably chumps the combat celebrant.
Yeah.
And then you attack for 6 more in the air. So you attack for 12, dropping him to 5, and he's got no Lyra in play anymore.
Yeah.
See what he targets here.
Yeah, I think Joe's in firm control of this game.
He's just choosing his poison, and he has chosen to take the Lyra.
Yeah. This doesn't have haste, as far as I know.
It definitely doesn't have haste. Joe, realising it just as we did.
And that combat celebrant is a 4/4 rather than its base 4/1.
I don't think he's not exerting it.
No. But it does mean he can't trade them up with it. It has to jump.
I mean, that is a swing for 10, which is a lot.
I mean, there's just 2 flying creatures and a 4/4, so there are no good blocks.
I mean, this just demonstrates to you the power of the Godfarer's Gift, just as a kind of iffy mid-range deck, isn't it? Because your opponent brings in Graveyard Hate, negates, and you just play out a bunch of big angels, and there's not very much they can do with their sideboarding.
Exactly.
Do you know what life total Pegler was on before? The switch was at 10. He was on 18.
He was on 17.
17.
He was definitely on 17 beforehand. Because I remember having it up.
Yeah, and he took 3 from Shalai and that's it.
He did. Took 1 hit from Shalai, he's down to 7.
Good catch.
Joe didn't exert the combat celebrant there. That's interesting. I think I probably would have.
He would have.
You've got in for another
Do the
6.
ministers have power? Are they 1/3s or?
They're 1/2s. They do have power.
Alex was dead then. I believe if he'd exerted that, he would have been able to attack with the 2 flyers and the 2 ministers and get him for exactly 7.
Yes, you're absolutely right. But I think what Joe is thinking is, before he cast the Angel, he wanted to see what he would put into his graveyard, whether or not he wanted to target Lyra or the...
Yeah, but the combat sovereign untaps all your other creatures, even if they weren't attacking.
Oh yes, you're right. So then he would have been attacking for 3, 6... Yeah, you're absolutely right. That would have been lethal. Oof, Sweltering Suns. Doesn't touch a single one.
And that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ouch.
It's possible that because he would have had to exert before he got to see whether Alex was blocking or not.
True.
If Alex does chump, he doesn't get to kill Alex.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And that was 2-0 to Joe Quilty. Very well done. Interesting seeing that deck doing what it wants to do. We
didn't get to see a lot of Alex's deck.
No. What do we see? We saw some Angels, we saw some Lyras, some Shalais, History of Benalias,
and a Knight of
Grace. Yeah, we didn't see a huge amount of Alex's deck, unfortunately.
So this is how the players sideboarded. Sweltering Suns makes sense, Hour of Devastation makes sense. And I think Joe brings those Angels in a lot. Just from playing against him, I think they're coming in almost every matchup post-sport because they're a much better grindy card. And it's more difficult to combo off when players have got graveyard.
And that's Alex Pegler bringing in a Thopter Arrest and 2 Cleansing Novas.
Which one is Cleansing Nova?
It's the new Fumigate. It's choose 1, destroy all creatures, or destroy all artifacts and enchantments.
Okay, sure.
5 mana. So,
when combined with Authority of the Consoles, it might do something for him. He did bring in 3 copies of that.
Yes. I can't imagine he's going to be using the destroy all artifacts and enchantments side of him much. It takes out Godfarrow's Gift.
In an emergency, it takes out Godfarrow's Gift, but that's after Joe's already had an activation.
And and a lot of Pegler's other removal is enchantment based, so he destroys his own Nyxland's Bindings,
right.
Baffling Ends.
Yeah.
So it's got to be there essentially as a
Destroy all creatures.
Yes. Interesting. Well done to Joe Quilty. So we're just waiting for one more result. So Rick versus Justin. So have you decided then what guild pre-release kit you want for tonight?
Well, you know me, I like to play blue decks, so it's going to be Izzet or Dimir.
Okay.
I really like the look of Izzet, but I don't know how strong it is.
Interesting.
I've been told it's not. I've been told it's considered the weakest guild to choose for the pre-release.
I think so. I think one of the things is that Izzet's maybe somewhat better in draft because it's very synergistic. Dimir
Justin Denham wins 2-0.
And Justin wins 2-0. Wow. Well done. And we can get the next round up. So, who would you like to see next?
We've seen. Let's see Luke versus Oliver then.
Yeah, Luke versus Oliver it is. And we'll just print those pairings off. Oh, you can have it. Very well done to those players.
Do you want a drink, George?
I would love one, yes please.
Anything in particular?
Yes, there's like a blood orange thing. I'll take that.
Cool.
Brilliant, so that was it. The elusive Sam saying play Dimir, Sephael being absolutely absurdly powerful. Well Sam, I am already decided that I'm playing Dimir. Dimir is less synergistic than the other guilds, but that's just because it has an outrageous amount of power. Like you don't need the synergy when your just individual card power level is so much higher. I think Rob is looking to play Dimir. So we've paired the next rounds. We still have one more round after this because we have 9 players. It's 4 rounds this evening.
assume you meant this.
I did not. There was
Oh, okay.
actually a blood orange thing.
Didn't see it. It's alright.
That's all right. I'll be back in a second.
Play Dimir Rob, Surveil is absurdly powerful. I agree. But I might play the pre-release on hard mode.
It was in fact that.
Sorry.
That's right. I don't believe there were. I think there was only 2 bottles left, and they were fallen down towards the back. So, right. So yes, Luke versus Oliver, and I very luckily guessed the
put
correct
green.
sides. Oh, I see. You did put green,
I imagine Luke's playing his green deck again.
which is the green elf deck, isn't it?
I thought it was he was playing dinosaurs. In fact, it might be green-red dinosaurs.
Oh, interesting.
Luke was playing.
And I'm pretty certain I know what Oliver is on.
I know he's played some black cards in the past.
Black-white vampires is what he's been playing a lot recently.
Okay. We'll start there and see what the players have got for us. They did roll a die, but I didn't see what the result was.
We'll find out when we see one of them play a land. So Sam's telling you to play Demir. So
Yeah, I've
did
responded
you?
to that. Yeah.
Have you?
I think I'm going to go Is It. 'Cause I want to play the pre-release on hard mode.
You probably need to play it on hard mode. I think you need a slight handicap. Well, I'll be playing Demir.
Dimir sounds like a lot of fun as well, though. I think Dimir in draft is not going to be a guild that you can draft alone, because Surveil synergizes incredibly well with both Golgari on one side and Izzet on the other.
Yes.
Because Jumpstart you want on the graveyard, and Golgari as the creatures in the graveyard
Yep.
mechanic. So I think you'll be fighting a lot. If you want to play a Dimir deck, do it now, because when we come to draft it, you probably won't be able to.
What I had heard from a number of articles on the subject was that Dimir in Sealed is very powerful because, although it's not as synergistic as the other guilds, but the card power level, just the cards are individually more powerful.
Right.
And I can see that's... The other thing I heard is that you don't want to aggressively surveil.
Okay.
So, generally if you're playing, say, Golgari, splashing blue, you don't want to aggressively mill creatures into the graveyard, and same with Izzet, you don't want to aggressively mill spells into the graveyard just because they've got Jumpstart.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, it's not card, it's card disadvantage. Well, it's not card disadvantage, but you
No,
don't...
it's card neutral, but you do get to turn lands into spells.
Yes, which can be relevant later in the game, but... So yeah, Luke playing green-red dinosaurs.
Yeah, and
Good
Oliver
spot.
has played a white-black land, so
Forsaken Sanctuary from the looks things, so...
looks like our telepathy's working.
Yep, vampires versus dinosaur.
Luke, unfortunately, 2 copies of Checklands,
Yes, 2 Ruban Crags.
so he'll cast a turn 2 Commune with Dinosaurs. He should set up a nice turn 3.
Not the end of the world though, this deck's quite... It goes quite big.
Take a Death Gorge, the ideal 3-drop.
Yep. You'd think though if he had an untapped land in his hand, it'd already be on the battlefield.
True.
So he might not be able to play the Death Gorge.
Do you think he was communing to try and find a land?
Maybe. I'm a big fan of this card.
Yeah.
Dusk Legion Zealot, draw a card, lose life. Get a free 1/1 for your troubles.
Yeah. Absolutely outstanding card.
Luke found the untapped land.
Yeah. So, scavenge. No.
Wants
Trying
to
to set up
power
an
into-
even bigger 4th turn.
Well, the premium card I think in this entire deck's the Regisaur Alpha 5-drop.
Yeah.
So
And of course, it enables the rest of the deck. Death Gorge Scavenger is a lot better when it has haste.
Yes. What do we have
Carnage
here?
Torrent is a lot better when it has haste.
That looks like a Maverick Fane to me. So, creating a 1/1 token whenever a vampire attacks.
Does it only do it when non-token vampires attack? Or
No.
Do the tokens make more tokens?
So it only creates whenever one or more vampires
okay.
attack. So it only creates one a turn, but the tokens do trigger it.
Okay.
But it can very easily spiral out of hand. There's the Death Gorge, pumping the Drover of the Mighty to a 3/3. Interesting.
I imagine Luke was looking for a land there.
I imagine so.
But how big is Maverick Fane?
It's only a 2/2, 3 mana 2/2. But it's one of those cards you want to hold back on defense anyway to get far more value out of. Call to the Feast, create 3/1/1 lifelink vampires.
Oliver's deck's firing all the cylinders now.
Well, he really just needs to find a Lord to
Yeah.
power up his team. Because he still can't attack into the 3/3 and the 3/2.
I mean, he can attack with a token, gain 1 life, get a token back.
Yeah, very true.
Doesn't really do much, but it's a free.
It has the end result of gaining 1 life. So Luke, desperate for his 4th land here.
He found it, but it comes into play tapped.
That's very unfortunate. No, you are absolutely right, Rob. Maverick Fane does only trigger off non-token vampires. So,
Okay.
I mean, he could have thrown the Zealot away.
You get to upgrade it into a lifelinking vampire, I suppose, but it really isn't that exciting.
Death Gorge Scavenger attacking for 4 here. Interesting. Death Gorge Scavenger being a 4/3 at the moment, I believe.
I certainly wouldn't throw away the only non-token vampire I had. But it looks like it's going to be a straight trade.
I mean, it's overall card neutral. The Zealot replaces itself, and it's 1 Call to the Feast for 1 Scavenger.
Yeah.
So they're still maintaining parity here. Ooh, and then a Braid from Luke on the Maverick Fane.
Alright, it's a lot. Perhaps that's what Oliver was playing around by blocking with 4 creatures.
Absolutely.
But I think if Oliver trades like that, his deck can't win.
I agree.
He needs a board presence.
He's a wide board and he needs Lords.
He had 6 vampires in play that turn, right? He could have easily drawn the what's the card that makes you lose life equal the number of vampires you control and draw that many cards?
Yes.
That would have been an outstanding top deck.
It would have been, or even the other cards. That's Queen's Commission for 2 more.
Yeah.
Or there's another card that whenever a vampire attacks, drain and gain a life.
That's true, yeah.
That would have also been very powerful.
But he has done a decent job of rebuilding, so given that he has Queen's Commission and Legion's Landing in hand, that his trade makes a lot of sense.
He does get to flip the Legion's Landing next turn as well, if he wants to. Although I imagine we might see a Regisaur Alpha from Luke here.
You have to imagine, and there it is.
5 mana. There it is. Making it very difficult for Oliver to attack now.
Yeah.
4/4 and a 3/3.
Do we attack with the 3/3?
I think so. If he wants to trade 3 vampires for it, I think that's fair.
It has trample, so this chump block's not going to be that effective.
So he takes 1 damage overall from that, but probably didn't realise until a bit late that it had trample.
Yeah, or maybe he just wanted to save damage where he could. He's still going to be able to flip his Legion's Landing.
True.
And once he's flipped it, he's not in that bad a spot. An extra 1/1 every turn is pretty good.
It is quite mana intensive though to keep creating those 1/1s.
That's true. The rest of his deck does seem cheap, so having a mana sink like that in an aggressive deck is very important.
Indeed.
Especially if your opponent's trying to beat you down with a couple of big creatures.
What can Oliver follow this up with? 5 mana. That is how much the draw vampire costs.
I'd be quite excited to see that here. I think that'll get Oliver right back into it.
Yeah, draw 4, lose 4. No, it's Sky Marcher. 6, 7, 8, 9. He does have the City's Blessings. That is a 2/1 flyer for one. And
another Queen's Commission.
He's doing a good job of vomiting out these vampire tokens.
He's overloaded on tokens and has no real payoffs.
And he gets for the Legion's Landing.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think you almost always want the draw vampire, don't you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Draw 6 cards, yes please.
Yeah.
What can I do here?
I don't know how many cards Luke's got in hand, but
Luke upgrading that Sky Marcher.
he's upgrading that. He's probably got more removal. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got something like a Carnage Tyrant or another expensive dinosaur in his hand that he can't cast yet. And a Fatal Push.
Fatal Push on the token, that'll do it.
Good answer. I believe Oliver's empty-handed now. But I don't know how many Luke's got.
I imagine Luke's probably still got some amount of cards. But as we just discussed, at least Oliver still has something to do with his mana.
Yeah.
And actually that's not a bad draw, because that still leaves him the ability to activate the...
Yeah, and having a flying threat can be good against against dinosaurs with all these vampires on the ground.
I don't think I'd be attacking here though.
No. I mean, he can do... Luke probably won't trade the 1/1.
It's a 3/3.
Oh, it is a 3/3
He gets +2/+2 if you have a dinosaur.
If you're going to make this play, you have to do it before you tackle your mana and play your card.
Yeah.
To make Luke at least think twice before blocking.
Interesting. Another Abrade? Yeah.
Yeah.
Luke is somewhat overloaded on removal and not a great amount of threats.
It's true, and now Oliver's on 29 life. He's got a lot of time.
He does.
But he does need to find something big. Bigger than dinosaurs. It's a tall order. There's nothing bigger than the dinosaurs.
I mean, Oliver's very aggressive with the way he's playing his vampires here. He's swinging. He's willing to lose them to chip in damage.
Yeah. I think it's because he knows he can win a race.
Ooh, Savage Stomp. Counter and fight.
Yeah. He still does get the lifeline, which I think is what they're asking about now.
He does. I imagine that interaction went, do I gain the life? Euro 29, you might as well gain 1 life.
Yeah. Oh, and another Savage Stomp.
Oof.
So that'll be another 1 life. But then 5 comes off, or 6 comes off from the alpha, right? It's
Yeah.
4/4 base. And Fatal Push, not a good answer to a 5-mana card.
No, it's not. But it doesn't have trample. So Oliver can chomp with a token, create a token each turn.
Yeah.
I think you just need to find some Lords is what you really need.
Yeah. Oliver's buying himself a lot of time, but it's time he's not really able to use.
He's just drawing a lot of lands, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
I don't think this deck ever really wants to see 6 lands plus the Legion Landing.
Do you think you start chump blocking now, make tokens and start chump blocking now, or do you take a couple of hits from the alpha, build up some tokens?
You take a few hits because each vampire you create is another life you're gaining each turn. So if you get up to like 3 tokens, you're on parity in life trade with the 6/6.
Yeah.
You're doing 3 to your opponent and gaining 3, so you're effectively doing the same as that 6 damage. So,
And Oliver starts at twice Luke's life total, so he will easily win the race.
exactly.
I agree.
Death Gorge Scavenger, that will gain Luke some life though. Now though, the math's changed.
Yeah. He will just take it. I like this play. But he
You
didn't
missed
use
the,
it at
yeah.
all.
That's unfortunate. Something big here. Ooh, Vona.
Destroys permanents?
It's a 4/4 Vigilance lifelink.
Okay.
You can tap, pay 7 life to destroy a permanent.
Like one that was going to deal 6 damage anyway.
Yes,
Seems good.
but it's Vigilance, so it's great. So you can attack, and then tap it and kill the blocker.
Smart.
Oof,
That's Samet the Tested.
it is some of the tested. Going to give double strike.
Does it give trample as well?
It doesn't give trample, thankfully. This isn't the worst. You block with the vampire token,
Yeah.
then you attack Samet with Vona, and after attacks with the 4 blocks, kill the Death Gorge Scavenger for 7 life,
Yeah.
and then you
Gain 4 of it back.
gain 4 of it back. So you've paid 3 life to kill Samet and the Scavenger.
Is Samet on 5 though?
Oh,
The
I
die looks
see.
like it's on 5. I don't know the stats on Samet. In fact, we can get Samet up, can't we?
We can get Samet out. Let's see what. Yeah, that one. So we have Samet here. To 1 creature against double strike, no trample. So that is a Lord though. We've now found the Lord, so
Ah, so that's 5 damage. So that does kill Samet now.
no, Oliver hasn't attacked with it, he just tapped it and killed the Regisaur Alpha.
Okay.
Ah no, that's a Lender the Dusk Rose.
I'm going to need to search for this one.
Whenever a creature dies, put a counter on it, and when a Lender dies, put a number of 1/1 vampires into play. So I'm able to kill a Lender though, but then a Lender does bring back 2 tokens. So not the end of the world, not the worst trade. So I think I probably preferred killing Samet there. I think I liked attacking with Vona and then killing the Death Gorge Scavenger to kill. Oh no, because we just established it couldn't kill Samet, could it?
Oh, yes, because it wasn't a Lord.
It wasn't
right.
a Lord. Interesting. Yeah, so that's Vona, what we were just discussing. Vigilance lifelink 4/4. You can do it at instant speed, but only during your turn, and that's a second copy of a Lender.
This Vampires deck is doing an impressive job of rebuilding, despite having no cards in hand.
Yep. And the Dinosaur deck has been stuck on 4 lands for quite some time, not able to... Luke does have cards in hand. I imagine he's left with a bunch of threats he can't deploy.
Yeah.
Looks like Luke's just going... Oliver's just going for Luke's life total here.
I quite like it. He can win the race, I think. It's close. But the fact that all of Oliver's threats have lifelink means that I quite like going at the face. Or do you think leaving Samet in play represents too much damage?
It's interesting. I think... Well, now he just gets to kill Samet by tapping Vona, doesn't he? But he's choosing to kill the Scavenger. I suppose giving something double strike doesn't matter if it hasn't got haste.
True. And he can always activate Vona in response to Samet. So if Samet targets something,
No, you can only activate it in your own turn. So.
Okay. So really, Luke's looking for Register Alpha.
He's got 5 mana again.
It just passes.
Oof, that's really tough for him.
It has to be Carnage Tyrant, right?
It's got to be. He's got more than one card in hand. It's got to be more than one copy of Carnage Tyrant. Sanctum Seeker. That's the drain one. So now he's going to be draining for 3 and attacking. So now he gets to drain his opponent for 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. I don't think Luke was actually dead then. I think Luke would have dropped to 1 there, but I don't think he can come back from 1 life in that position. Yes, that's Sanctum Seeker. That was what finished the game off for in Oliver's favour. Nicely played. I mean, I thought Oliver was in real trouble then, because he was down to a position where he had very little on the board, no cards in hand, and Oliver and Luke had a whole bunch of big, powerful dinosaurs, I imagine.
Yeah, you'd expect the dinosaur deck to top deck very well, given all of its threats are massive.
Not when you're stuck on 4 lands, though, I guess. That's the real problem there. Yes, so that was Sanctum Seeker. Interesting.
Let's go and have a look at the sideboards.
Okay, so let's see what these players' sideboards look like. I think this is a matchup they have played numerous times. They have a lot of experience, both these players, against each other's decks. They know exactly what to expect from one another.
So it turns out that Oliver
Yes.
doesn't have a sideboard.
Okay.
So he's confident in his main deck. So he's going to run it back.
And Luke?
Luke is bringing in 2 Thrashing Brontodon.
I can see
It's a
that.
bit of sense because the Vampire deck plays Radiant Destiny and he wants to stop the Legion of Ramen from flipping. And 2 copies of Fling.
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 Wow. That is one way to well,
so I
it's
really
some
like
amount
it.
of reach.
So it stops lifelink. If you attack, get blocked, Fling.
Yep.
It can respond to an activation of Vona.
Yes, correct.
Which represents a massive life swing. And its reach. And the Vampire's deck survives by gaining just enough life to stay out of range. So I think it's a very smart sideboard choice if you expect this.
Oh, it's quite clever. Interesting.
Deck. And I did confirm with Luke that he was holding in hand 1 copy of Carnage Tyrant and, I guess,
Golter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Primal Calamity, right? Or is that Zakama?
That's the Karma. It's Golter. That's a good question. We can have a look, can't we? Let's. If I can spell it right. If I can spell it right again. Primal Hunger.
Not that version. Yeah, it's the nice one.
He's got the full art promo one, does he? It doesn't give you the option, I'm afraid.
Oh, Sex and Legality, there you go.
No, just Rivals of Ixalan, because that was the set.
Okay.
So,
disappointing.
But he did have the sweet full art promo version, did he?
He's only got 1 copy of Carnage Tyrant in the deck.
Well, it's a very expensive threat. Yeah. Oliver was just able to kill enough things to keep Golter from coming down, I imagine.
Yeah, I didn't do the maths, but Luke just got stuck on landers for the entire game.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get to see him find enough lands this game.
I mean,
So, here we go.
If Golter comes out against this vampire deck, there's no real good answers.
Pegler wins 2-0.
Vona's pretty much it, isn't it? And even then, that's
I mean,
not
unless he's
immediate.
playing, if he's playing some white removal spells like Cast Out,
Yeah.
then he can do it. But
Alex
we
Pegler winning
didn't see
2-0.
any
Well
of
done.
those.
No, I've played against Oliver a few times, and I don't think I've seen a copy of Cast Out from him.
No, he's playing Fatal Push as his removal, which does nowhere near good enough.
Yeah, unfortunately. Not against a 12 converted mana cost creature. Here we go, the turn 1 commune this time.
This is a much better start for Luke.
He's getting a land this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get any land, which is nice. A lot of these cards just fetch basics, but Commune with Dinosaurs gets any land or a dinosaur.
Yeah. Here we go.
Kind of like the Ancient Stirrings for standards.
I was thinking more Ponder, but okay.
Well, it finds a land or a threat. It's Ancient
True.
Stirrings.
Ancient Stirrings being a very powerful magic card.
Probably one of the best magic cards in Modern. And it's a common.
It is a common.
Because they banned all the good blue.
And it doesn't really do
card
anything.
selection. Best card selection spell in the format is green. What is this format coming to?
I know. Ah,
That's a good threat.
that is a very good answer for these big dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Carnage Tyrant doesn't face up against Gifted Aetherborn very well.
No. Luke's off to a good start as well.
Ooh, Optec Huntmaster. Dinosaur spells
he had
cost
a
one
Death Claw
less.
Scavenger that turn. He could have played it, and it would have been cooking.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could potentially play a Carnage Tyrant next turn though.
With haste.
Queen's Commission.
Yeah.
Oliver off
Vampire
to
deck doing what the Vampire deck does.
Good. So we want to see a big. We really need to see a big threat from Luke here, don't we? Regisaur Alpha, Carnage Tyrant.
Yeah.
Regisaur Alpha it is.
Yeah. And it gives the token haste, and he can give it haste itself with the Huntmaster.
Ooh, he's got something here for 1 mana.
Is it another Commune? Or?
Savage Stomp. Kill the Gifted Aetherborn.
Brutal.
I mean, I think I liked attacking first, getting the damage in.
I agree. But
And
maybe.
because he had no way to answer that dinosaur token.
Yeah. Just a slight missequence from Luke.
I don't think it makes a huge amount of damage in the grand scheme of things. Just 3 points of life, really. But that was a very good turn for Luke either way.
Yeah. And it only gets better from here. Every dinosaur has haste.
Yeah.
Just needs to draw cards with dinosaur on the type line.
Which is what this whole deck is filled with.
Chump blockers are good because Luke used his trample dinosaur to fight.
He did.
So it's going to take a while to grind through these, but Oliver's sort of spinning his wheels.
Chump. Interesting. I think I'd have probably, personally, I probably would have taken the damage.
It's a little eager. Is he trying to set something up? Is there some way to pay a lot of life?
No, Vona's the only thing I believe that pays life in this deck.
No,
The Queen's Commission. He really is
chump-
going very wide.
Chump blocking makes a kind of sense if you can continue to make tokens.
But then you are essentially using it as a fog, aren't you, that card?
Yeah.
Which probably doesn't win in the long run against this dinosaur deck.
No.
Death Gorge Scavenger. Luke over tapping just a little bit. Just get to make this Death Gorge Scavenger pretty big.
Yeah. All of Oliver's creatures are actually not creatures in the graveyard, because they make tokens. So that's what, 4/4 and a 5/4. take everything off the scavenger. If you're Luke, you have to be ecstatic about this.
I think so, absolutely. You're left in a very powerful position on board, and Oliver has absolutely nothing in play now.
I think Oliver needs to play this game a lot more aggressively and just trust in the lifelink to win the race.
Oh, that's a Yeheni. The Sky Marcher. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think if you think about it, Oliver threw four under the and then chumped 2 previously, so he could have taken the damage and had 6 vampires in play. That's a big life swing if he's attacking with them.
It is, yeah. I mean, Luke was attacking for 9 that turn, but gaining 6 back and you're only losing 3 a turn. And Yeheni will gain indestructible here. Yeah. And again, Oliver he prevents all the combat damage this turn, but he's still not improving his board.
No. I think if you're Luke, you're quite happy with all of these trades, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, fortunately for Oliver, Luke doesn't have the Galter or anything to really put the game away. That's another Elender, isn't it?
It is. Without a word to kill stuff, though, it's not looking overly exciting.
Both of these creatures want stuff to die, don't they?
Yes, they absolutely do.
He's got no way to make it happen. Do we know if he's got any cards in hand? He could be holding Fatal Push.
Fatal Push, yeah, it does kill the Drover of the Mighty. But I imagine if you had Fatal Push, you'd have done it before you attacked with the Yeheni to get the counter on.
Yeah.
What do we have here? 4/5 mana, something big. That's the Vona.
Yeah. So Oliver's top decks have been good these last couple of turns.
What's the time on run?
There is about 15 minutes left on the round. That's right.
What's the time management?
Correct. Yes, we probably should have set the timer going.
But yeah, Oliver's drawn his big threats, and Luke hasn't drawn anything to make the game unwinnable.
Samet though.
Sounds good. Is it good enough? It's not immediately obvious.
No.
I think Vona is going to take this game over, unless Luke can find a way to fight through it.
I mean, this is the turn before Vona gets to activate. Wow. Attacking the 3/3 into the 4/4. Got to think the Luke's got an Abrade or some kind of trick to take out that Vona.
Do you think this deck's playing any pump spells? Or do you think Luke is just attacking, thinking Oliver will be too scared to block? Oliver throws it anyway.
I would have probably just taken the damage here, I think.
Yeah.
But then Elender does get a counter, there are benefits. It's also interesting that you put the Yeheni in front of the Drover rather than the...
Was that the one that got double strike?
Ah, maybe. Must have been. I suppose you split the damage up as much as possible.
Sense, because then it can attack into Vona.
Very true.
And there's the fling. So Vona will not be taking this game over.
But Elender's getting up there, counters-wise.
Yeah.
It's now a 3/3 lifelink.
Does that only trigger off your own creatures, does it?
Whenever a creature dies,
it's
I believe.
4/4 lifelink.
Yes, correct. It's got 3 counters on it now, yes.
Phil wins 2-1.
Very well done to Phil Dyke, beating Joe Quilty 2-1.
Excellent.
And now Oliver gets to jam with his 4/4 lifelinker.
I like the attack and the top deck to Death Toucher, which is really important. It means that Luke can't just top deck Carnage Tyrant, give it double strike and haste.
Oof. Then again,
double strike does kill it, doesn't it?
What about a double strike Galter?
That I don't think he could cast. because Drover is not online at the
1,
moment.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, he's only got 9 mana towards that, but he's got a braid for the.
Yeah.
But it just ticks up the Elender. Everything
Yeah.
he's killing.
I mean, Luke just needs to draw Carnage Tyrant. Even then, that might not even be good enough, you know.
I think it is. A hasty Carnage Tyrant with double strike. 14 damage.
Yeah, take my 14, go to 5. Block it next turn. Don't gain anything because the lifelink doesn't work. And then it still tramples. Yeah,
Justin Denham's 2-0.
Very well done to Justin, 2-0. Which means this is our very last game.
It looks like Oliver, despite everything we were saying earlier, is going to win this game.
And you were thinking that it was going to be the Vona taking over this game, but it's the Elender now. I think it's a 5-5.
This has been a very interesting game.
Interesting. Oh, we finally found a Lord. Felicia's Lieutenant. Swing for 6 this time.
Right near the end of game 2. So both these players playing tribes that we've had from Ixalan, but neither of these are guilds that are going to be supported in the new cards.
No, you're right.
So it's interesting to see what these players are going to do with their decks afterwards. Because none of them are hit badly by rotation because it's all Ixalan.
Correct.
Do you think they'll add another colour each?
I don't know.
It's not that many vampires, and I'm pretty sure there aren't many dinosaurs.
No, I don't think these decks do particularly well out of the new sets. They're very Ixalan focused, aren't they?
More or less Ixalan constructed.
Call to the feast, how about this? 6 power of vampires with the
Yeah.
Lord.
And if they ever get to block, they just grow Elender.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's much Luke can draw here.
No. How big is Elender? It can easily
It's a
swing
6/6.
in, right?
Yeah. I think the only thing is Golter. If Luke
Golter
now
is-
has enough power in play to cast Golter.
Yeah, but he's lost his haste enable.
True, but it blocks Elendi.
It does block.
Oliver can't attack into it. And Golter then with double strike gets to swing for 24, which doesn't even kill Oliver. Carnage Tyrant. Unfortunately, it just seems just a little too late.
This is a fantastic game.
Ah, but Samut's second ability.
What does that one do?
Deal 2 damage divided as you choose.
Ah.
So he gets to kill the Legion Lieutenant. Get him for 4.
And then in future turns it'll be able to kill 2 tokens a turn.
Correct. Oof.
Phil Dark was
Don't
2-1.
We got that one.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, we're just waiting for this one.
I don't like that either, so that lets Luke draw a card to save 4 points of damage when he's on 29 life.
Yeah, I think you'd rather keep the creature. It does grow Elender in case that's relevant. How big is Carnage Tyrant? 7/6. And that puts Elender up to
Legion's Landing, not overly exciting there.
7/7. That's not big enough. He could attack with all 3 and flip it. Chooses not to. So if you're Oliver, and
Yes.
that double striking Carnage Tyrant comes in, are you taking 14?
Oof,
There's
Golter. So where Oliver was in a really strong position now, look at what's happened.
Yeah. What a back and forth game.
I think Luke's ahead now.
Luke is certainly ahead now.
Double striking Golter's ridiculous. Oh, Savage Stomp.
That's a good one. So that's 6 extra tokens, right?
Yes,
Imagine Oliver
7.
draws... Oh,
7
is equal to
tokens.
power, is it? Imagine Oliver draws a Lord here.
That's lethal with a Lord, isn't it? 7, 8, 9, 10 tokens.
I imagine
10
so.
2/2s.
10 2/2s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if Oliver finds a Lord
no.
here, that's lethal.
Yeah,
Or if he finds the Drain Vampire.
yeah. Sanctum Seeker, was it?
Yep. Or the draw vampire. I'd like to draw 10 cards, please. Lose 10 life. Because drawing 10 cards would easily find you a lord.
Yeah. Could he cast it? Yeah, as long as he finds an untapped land, which you...
With his 10 cards, he probably would. I mean, actually, hold on. We've got...
Carnage Tyrant did get double strike here.
Yes.
Take 1,000,000 damage. Still on 22 life.
No, Carnage Tyrant didn't, because Samut killed the Lord.
Was that this turn? No. Oh.
I believe it was.
It might be, yeah.
Call to the feast, another 3. You have to attack all out here.
Yeah.
You got 3 black to chump.
I mean, Luke will block with his Ripjaw Raptor and get an extra card, but you're really putting him dead on board.
You gain 10 life up to 32.
Yeah.
That is enough against Golter. Double striking Golter.
Yeah, 26.
And a Carnage Tyrant.
Yeah.
Both those have tramples, so that's what? So that would be 24 plus 7, 31 damage. Yes, you'd be on 1 life.
Yeah, and he's got 3 blockers to... Well, they soak 6 damage between them.
They do.
And this was an attack with...
7.
7. Oh, 7 was the maximum he could attack with, because 3 of them came in this
Yes,
turn.
you're right.
Is that the right amount of life?
I don't believe so.
He was on 22, wasn't he? And he gained 7 up to 29.
Yes.
Go
Would you like to just confirm that with the players? There we go, we've just adjusted that life total somewhat.
So there were 10 attackers, but they adjusted the die when they knew 3 of them were going to die in combat, which is why we thought there were only 7 attacking.
Makes sense. But even then, the life total still needed adjusting by 1 point.
They weren't sure what he started on, but it was definitely 22, wasn't it?
But if we get a double striking Golter plus a Carnage Tyrant, is Oliver dead to a Regisaur Alpha?
Hasty 3/3.
So that's 24, 31 trampling damage.
I don't think so, because he can block 8 of it. Well, he can block these 2 for free. Those 2 he gets to block 6.
Oh, goodness me, Golter's actually 13 power, 2 extra.
Yeah, 26. If he double striked Golter, which I suppose he must have done.
Absorb as much damage as you possibly can.
Yeah, this block makes some sense. So they do the life gain first, and then work out how much he's supposed to be taking. So we think it should be 26 from
plus
Galter.
5, 31.
Plus 5.
So he goes to 5 life. Double lightning strike.
That would be quite the way to end, and they agree.
Interesting.
And Luke picks him up.
Luke scoops it up. That's a 2-0 win to Oliver. Very well done, Oliver. Very well played. And handshake. So we have our final round. Top table being Alex Pegler versus Phil Dyke.
Which we will be watching.
We will be watching top table. Perfect.
That was a very interesting match. I'm glad we got to watch that one on stream.
Yeah, they were so swingy. There was so, and do you know what? A double striking Golter just lost the game.
Yeah, double strike my Golter, hit you for 26, concede. Do you want to put Listen. If it's shot and paper. We're having some printer issues. But we'll get that sorted and get the round paired. Otherwise I'll just shout the pairings out.
Just take a photo.
Yeah.
Take a photo, then run out there. Whoever's not on there has got the buy.
Yeah.
Right, so final round. And we have Phil Dyke on red-black versus Alex Pegler on blue-white. So then, this is our final round of the evening, and we are currently at 9:40, so we'll be done by 10:40, roughly by 10:30, giving us plenty of time before we begin our midnight stream. I'm going to be building a Dimir deck, taking you through my card choices, how I go about building from a sealed pool, just kind of making an absolute mess of things. So feel free to join me for that.
So we have Phil on the right of shot.
Oh, what a guess.
Nice.
And it looks like we're going to have 19 players for our midnight pre-release.
Ooh. Nice.
Which I'm assuming this is what this random list saved on the computer is. Your name's on there, Dan's name's on there, my name's on there. So 19 players is going to be a pretty good turnout for a midnight. Are we really doing 5 rounds at midnight?
I suppose so. In for a penny, in for a pound.
Yikes.
I said I'd never do another one, and here I am.
Why have you? So why did you say you wouldn't do another one?
I think during the last one, there was something that happened. It was probably like falling asleep at the table or something.
That's right, you can sleep when you're dead, Rob.
That's true. Wait.
Or more accurately, Saturday morning.
Yeah. So it'd be nice if Alex took his play off the iPad, but I'm sure they'll sort that out.
Has the iPad locked itself?
No, I think so.
Let me just go and sort that out.
Phil choosing to start on 21 life seems like a good play to me. Ah, there we go.
How are we positioning?
Yeah, that looks good.
Sweet, there we go. We have our life totals back. So, what do you think about this matchup then? Who do you prefer here?
So we didn't get to see what Alex's deck does when he played against Joe, because Joe just comboed him out. It looks like a sort of control aggro hybrid. Oh, nice.
So Alex Pegler wins the roll-off there.
Yeah.
So, my money's... I think Alex at the end of the day is the main deck Lyra.
True.
He does have main
Very
deck Lyras,
strong,
which is what people bring in against the kind of black-red.
Yeah.
History of Banali is very good, clogs up the ground. Shalai is good, protects your Lyra from non-licensed disintegrations. There's a lot. Alex has a lot of good cards against this red deck.
Yeah.
It's
See,
just
I came into this thinking Phil will be heavily favoured, but you made a lot of good arguments for Alex's deck in this matchup.
I think
so we'll have to see how it plays out.
I think Alex's deck was built specifically to beat the aggressive red decks.
Well, it's obviously been working because he lost on camera and is now in the final.
Indeed.
I believe Phil is uncontested at the top of the standings, given the number of buys that we've had.
Of course, Phil has just drawn a Glory Bringer, and that will be very good against Alex's deck later on.
Now, although Phil's deck is red-black, it's not actually playing any black permanents, is it?
No
to
black
turn that Knight of
permanents.
Grace on.
Correct. Only black removal spells and activation of Scrap Heap Scrounger. So, yeah, that Knight of Grace is likely just to be a 2/2 forever. There we go. Yeah, Sam confirms built to beat red. Pegler's deck was so. But if Phil gets off to a fast enough start, he might be in for a good. And Shalai comes down. I mean, the lightning strike in Phil's hand will shrink that Shalai, but that's not overly exciting. I think you want to use Unlicensed Disintegration against it.
So, given that we had 9 players...
In response to the Shalai, lightning strike the face.
Okay, yeah. Get your burn in.
Aggressive.
But he's got... That's a Soulscar move, right? I think I'll lightning struck with Shalai.
Shrink it to a 0/1, but Shalai's not good for its power. Shalai's there for its ability to protect your Lyra if you're going to have to use another removal spell down the line.
But I mean, look at the board. He can't really attack anyway into the night, I suppose. So. Oh, and he's got the unlicensed.
He does.
That's fair enough.
Does get aggressive here. There's a prowess trigger on that. Oh, you can't attack with the... Yeah.
Yeah. So we had, 9 players.
Yes, correct.
Which means that if Alex wins this one on camera, and Justin beats his opponent, Luke, we have a 3-way tie for first place.
Wow. Between
Phil, Alex, and Justin. Which means that these players won't have ID'd, and this is actually for first place at FNM, probably.
Interesting.
Alex has to get lucky on the tiebreakers if he wins. His breakers aren't bad, and they only improve when he plays against Phil, so...
And they can't ID because otherwise Alex guarantees he doesn't take first.
Yeah, in fact, it guarantees Phil takes first, and then one of Joe or Sam takes second, I think.
Interesting.
Joe's playing Oliver, sorry. Joe or Oliver takes second.
Oof, Lyra there. Lyra's very good against the red deck. And Alex very cleverly playing around a lightning strike. He's not blocking the Soulscar Mage. You block it, you lose your Lyra.
Yeah.
Or in an unhasty Hazaret.
How many cards in Phil's hand? 3. But one's a shock and one's a Chandra, so he can get empty-handed fairly quickly.
Well, he's drawing another one, so he may not be able to get empty-handed unless he draws a land next turn.
Well, Chandra adds 2 mana, don't forget.
Yeah, but Chandra, tick up, add 2 mana, you still have 2 cards in hand. If you cast the shock off the...
Sure.
Phil needs to draw a land here to get empty-handed next, to get down to 1 card next turn. Ooh, Resplendent Angel.
Yeah, we've got a reader. I'll get that up.
This is our... I'm not very good at typing, apparently. Keyboards I'm unfamiliar with. Resplendent Angel. Do you want to transition it in? So, if you gain 5 or more life, create an Angel token, which Lyra helpfully triggers.
Yeah. This is spiraling out of control very quickly.
Lyra will do that. And you can see now why I pegged Alex as the favourite in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Phil had to use his unlicensed disintegration on Shalai, and now he's just dying to lifelink enquires. In fact,
Indeed.
That activated ability just shuts the door, doesn't it?
That it does, so that makes it. Wow, goodness me. That's 6
can't
plus
count that,
11. 11 plus. That's
don't
18.
Don't forget Lyra boosts all your angels.
18, 19, 20. That's 20 flying lifelink damage next turn.
Unbelievable.
So if Alex untaps, he wins. If he wants to go for it.
I can't imagine Phil killing him from 14 against.
And Phil did draw a non-land, so he can't turn on Hazaret this turn. But he's just going to kill the Angel. I think this
makes sense, yeah.
But still, Alex still has 10 power of Angel here. It's a 4/4 Angel.
Yeah, +1.
+1.
And then, so this means Phil has to chump block the knight with his Soul Skull Mage.
He does.
Because he can't get empty-handed, so...
But Alex isn't empty-handed. He could very well have some significant threats.
Yeah, I can't imagine him having anything to kill Phil this turn, but...
No, but something like another Resplendent Angel, for example, would... I think this game is spiraled very quickly out of Phil's control. So we could very well have potentially a 3-way tie for first place. Interesting.
This is only game 1. We'll
so
see.
This is Shalai now protecting Lyra.
I wonder if Phil has anything out of the sideboard that can rescue this matchup.
So the main thing that these red decks run is more unlicensed disintegrations.
Yeah, he's still on 4.
And I think that's pretty much it, to be honest. Deck. Some of them run Banefires. I know the mono red deck plays Fight with Fire, which is 5 damage to a creature.
Yeah.
But you don't need that in the black version because of unlicensed disintegration. And what could Phil possibly do here?
How did Phil get to 3? Use it 11.
He was at 11. I make Phil being on 1 here.
1, yeah. They missed the pump from Lyra.
They have. I don't think it matters here because I don't think Phil stands a chance.
Phil's about to pick his cards up, I think.
He is. I can't see a way out of this for him.
Chandra's going to see if she can find one.
Is there anything here? I don't think so. Adding mana?
Oh, add mana. Okay. Bring the Glory. That still doesn't... Well, it has to target Shalai anyway.
Kill Shalai.
Doesn't kill Shalai. Shalai is an angel.
Shalai is pumped, yeah, it's a 4/5. But Soul's going to make shrink Shalai to a 0/1.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, he's got the shock.
Yeah. So we're going to shock Shalai. Get empty-handed.
Still not enough, is it?
No, not remotely.
And Alex is at 24 life. Yeah, this has spiraled very poorly out of control for Phil.
Yeah, we are exerting.
You
We're going to try and kill that, but fail. Yeah.
You've got a 5/5. You block the 4/4.
Yeah. And we've cast shock, so that's take 7 and then. There's no way.
And Phil scoops up his cards. Wow. Yeah, a deck that was designed entirely to be the red aggressive decks.
But unless that Phil's got something super spicy, it's not going to rescue it.
Quite an interesting matchup, this. I wonder if Alex's deck is the real kind of spice. I wonder if any of the pros tested decks like this, because the most recent, so Worlds for example, was something like 65% red aggro, which is an extraordinarily high percentage of the field. If a deck like Alex's deck, maybe tuned somewhat differently, was taken, I imagine it probably would have done reasonably well. So, what have we got? Oh, we've got a reader is what we've got.
Don't do that.
Oh, that's why. My apologies. Shield Mare.
So
this is what Alex has got for the red matchup.
3 copies of this card because the main deck is not good enough to beat red decks.
Of course not.
We must have this.
3 copies. It can't be blocked by red creatures. And whenever it becomes the target of a speller ability, you gain 3 life.
And when it enters the battlefield. So
oh,
it
wow.
gains you 3 immediately.
Goodness me. And what about from Phil's side? Did we see what Phil had?
He's not happy about what he's got in his sideboard for this matchup. He doesn't think he can win.
Interesting.
And Phil says that a lot, and he still manages to win.
He very much does.
Phil is not bad at this game. He's got some Hour of Glories, just extra hard removal spells.
Hard removals, very good against the 5 power, 5 toughness creatures of Pegler. Okay.
And that's more or less it. A couple of cards he was iffy on, I don't quite remember.
Okay. Hour of Glory, the removal spell of choice for the black-red deck. Because it's only a black splash, they can't afford the double black of Vraska's Contempt. Also very good in the mirror.
Yeah.
Exile their Hazoret, take any more Hazorets out of their hand they might be saving.
So do you think there's a universe in which Phil wins this?
I think so. I think Alex, the cards are very individually powerful, but they can be somewhat clunky.
So let's say Phil opens with Soulscar Mage into Scrap Heap Scrounger into, I don't know, do they play the Crasher? Or is that just
they don't play the Crasher, but the 3-drop is either
3-drop.
Well, it's either Pier or Goblin Chainwhirler. If you've got a Soulscar Mage, then your best 3-drop has to be Chainwhirler to shrink everything that Pegler's managed to play up to that point.
Okay.
Maybe a couple of his Knights become 1/1s instead of 2/2s.
And then you slam the Hazoret, and then you unlicense Disintegration with the Lyra, and then you win the game.
Yeah.
And then that happens again in game 3 while you're on the draw.
Look, no matter what happens, Rob, Alex is capable of mulling to 4.
That is true. That is true. I've seen it happen before.
What's the fewest cards you've ever won a game with?
I saw you discussing this on stream the other day, and I can't remember. I assume I've won a game from 4 before, but I can't remember it. Playing a lot of high variance decks in Legacy does lend itself to ridiculous stories. I don't have any.
So, I remember very specifically a 4-card hand when I was playing Eldrazi
Let me
Tron.
see if I can remember this from the stream the other day that I watched. You had Eldrazi Temple at least 1 times. You had... Was this when the discount land was legal, Ilugan?
No.
Okay. You definitely had the Warlords here.
So there's been 2 occasions. One was with Eldrazi Tron, one was with Red-Green Eldrazi.
Okay.
So the 4-card hand with Eldrazi Tron was Natural Tron and Calm.
Yep.
And the 3-card hand with Red-Green Eldrazi was 2 Eldrazi Temples and a Thornall Seer.
Oh, of course it was. Sam says 3 in Legacy playing Rog Delver. That's impressive.
That is incredibly impressive. What were the 3 cards, Sam? I mean, I imagine one of them was probably a threat. A single land, a threat, and maybe like a daze?
Some way to stop his opponent from playing Magic. I imagine it was a threat, and then you draw a Wasteland and a Stifle.
Well, I imagine you can win in Rug Delver with a 1-card hand if that one card is Wasteland. Your opponent plays their only land, brainstorms, doesn't find a land, brainstorm locks themselves, and then you Wasteland them.
Would you mulligan a 2 to try one Wasteland?
So here we go. Soulscar Mage into Pianalar.
Yeah, Alex has had no plays for the first 3 turns.
I mean, that does mean he's probably got some big, hefty threats.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing his irrigated farmland, which means he's not land heavy, and he's not got any 3-drops. So, Phil had better win this game quickly.
He's got the start for it. He's Prowess trigger on Soulscar Mage, ticking up Chandra.
Yeah, so he's trying to get his hand empty.
3, 4, 5. I'm attacking for 6 damage here. Alex is already down to 10 potentially.
So, gentlemen, I'm just going to move this.
What does he
so
got?
I can see the final promos.
So, like seal away? Yeah, sealing away that Soulscar Mage. A very sensible play against the. Protect your big angel somewhat from the annoying ability of the Soulscar Mage. I'm seeing an Hour of Glory in Phil's hand.
Yeah.
If Alex just taps out for some kind of big threat here and then it gets Hour of Gloried.
Yeah, Phil's in a real good chance of winning this game.
Oh no, Excellence Binding on Chandra.
Even so, it doesn't deal with the 3 power Phil's got in play, and he might be able to Hazaret. Probably not this turn.
He can if he doesn't have a Hazaret in hand, but if he drew one, he's got land Hazaret.
Okay.
And attacking with Hazaret.
But no.
Pump
is he going to pump?
twice?
He's not pumping, so he's got something.
I mean, he's got the Hour of Glory. Maybe he's holding that up for instant speed.
Hour of Glory, yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, I like the sequencing from Phil actually.
I think so too.
He's got, is that Canyon Slew Hour of Glory?
So Sam's hand was Delver, Brainstorm, Daze, drew Volk turn 1.
So he opts not to Hour of Glory and just cycles Canyon Slew.
Interesting.
So now we can just attack with Thopter and threaten. Okay, he has
Disintegrate.
Disintegration. That's pretty good.
Pump twice.
Yeah. Pump just
once. But then Alex is down to 3.
Yeah.
I mean, this is how we discussed Phil potentially winning. These kind of sweet curve outs where you just have enough power in play to threaten and enough removal spells to kill Alex's things. I mean, this is going to be a Lyra.
Yeah.
This is a Lyra, and then.
But we still have the Hour of Glory and Phil's hand to deal with it.
Yeah.
So Alex is thinking better of it. He's thinking that Phil might have another removal spell. But he has
he's got no choice in this spot. If he's got a land here, Phil can kill Lyra, pump Thopter, lethal.
Yeah. In fact, he can do that anyway, can't he?
No, yes, you're right. You can.
Yeah.
Saying pump
that's
it.
The game.
Kill, attack for 4. Yep.
And no pump.
Interesting. Why wouldn't you have pumps there?
If he's holding Lightning Strike, it doesn't matter. But then you just cast.
But
it.
Alex was on. Only had 1. Alex only had 1 mana untapped. There's no spell for 1 mana that could have done anything to prevent that.
And this could easily be a lifelinking angel.
Indeed. Another Lyra, for example.
That's not like Phil.
And that's not like Phil at all. But then even against a lifelinker, you've got Pia's second ability, which would still be lethal next turn.
Yes, true. So the play is relatively safe. Except now
no, we've got Seal Away plus Shalai. And Phil's drawing nothing but lands.
Now Phil needs to top that something and can't.
He's drawn a land. This is not great. Pegler's been given a chance now.
I mean, Phil needs now Shock or Lightning Strike to finish the game.
Lightning Strike, Hazaret.
And License Disintegration.
Disintegration does it. Chandra does it.
Yeah. I'm imagining.
Chain Whirler does it.
Yeah.
1 damage.
So he's drawing live. There's
Yes.
a lot of outs. I'm imagining
Second copy of PNL does it. There's a lot of things that do it.
Second copy of PNR. Yeah, because you can sack the new one, can't you?
Sack the new Thopter to make the old Thopter unblockable.
Yeah.
Or
How many
not.
copies of Peer do these decks play?
2 generally. It's normally 4 check.
Oh, there's the shield man. So that cuts down on Phil's outs, but he can still do it.
Unlicensed Disintegration does it still.
Yeah.
Yeah, Unlicensed Disintegration still does it.
Nothing else is good enough, is it? Glorybringer does it.
Glorybringer also does it. That looked like it might have been a Glorybringer. Phil, carefully thinking it through. It's 5 mana, this is Glorybringer and lethal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bailed out.
Unlike Phil to... I mean, I'm right in thinking that Pegler only had 1 mana untapped.
Yeah, it was a planes, I think.
Yeah. No Path to Exiles again.
No.
Just discussing.
He could have cast Charge.
Could have cast Charge.
Which we've seen, but it wouldn't have done anything. So let's actually do this.
Yes.
In
It's
fact,
safe.
it's 1 all, isn't it? So
It is 1
it doesn't
all.
matter what. Because we haven't been doing that for the whole stream.
We haven't.
We should have done.
High production value here. Look, I started the timer this round. What more do you want?
Oh, well done. Oh, my hair's gone all green screeny.
So it has. Well, Phil managed to do it, but he was on the play there. It's going to be much more difficult now he's on the draw. But that's the kind of hand he needs. He needs to get a little bit lucky with some top decks. He needs to curve out neatly, and he needs some removal for Pegler's Lifelinky Angels.
Kev won his game 2-0, boys. Thank you.
And he needs to not miss lethal again.
And he needs to not miss lethal again. So that is 2-0 to Kevin. Very well done, Kevin. Yeah.
So, this third game is hard mode for Phil.
Yeah.
On the draw, these red decks get a lot worse. It's not quite as bad as the mono red decks.
Yeah, interesting. And we did see the shield mare come down.
We did. So Phil knows that they're in the deck now.
And it did cut Phil's out significantly.
Yeah.
All the burn spells, the Chandra, the Chain Whirlers,
Yeah.
the PNLRs,
Yeah.
all those were cut out. In fact, pretty much the only thing that would have done it then was Glorybringer.
Yeah.
Unlicensed Disintegration would have still
Unlicensed
done it.
Disintegration.
Ooh, is that an Argyl's Bloodfast?
Yeah, he was thinking about bringing those in.
Interesting.
So he wants to play a grindy long game.
I'm not sure
Or
he can
just
win a
wants to-
grindy long game.
Well, he could dig for removal with it and try and draw enough removal so as to keep up with the life-linking angels.
Yeah, but bear in mind that that's costing him 2 life each activation, and Lyra's a fast clock.
Yeah,
It's
I'm not
interesting.
sold on the idea.
I mean, to be fair, Phil did say that he has very little for this matchup.
Yeah, but I think your best bet is just to try and run them over.
Yeah. You need to have a hand like the last one. It needs to be fast with just the right amount of answers.
Yeah. Did we see if Phil recycled between games 2 and 3?
Plus, it pumps the 9.
Oh yeah.
I didn't see, no.
Authority. I mean, this game's going to be very difficult to win.
Indeed.
The one thing in Phil's favour here is that although Alex's permanents now stop him from winning a short game, he's configured his deck with these Argyl's Bloodfast to maybe try and win a long game. So
Yeah.
it's not hopeless, which it might have been if he hadn't brought this Bloodfast in.
Phil doesn't look like he can curve out this turn. Looks like he's also drawn a second copy of Argyl's Bloodfast as well, which is definitely not what you want, is it? That's the card we're talking about. Well, it doesn't show you there's the flip side.
Can you transform this thing?
You can
Yes, there
transform
it is.
it.
Temple of Aqua.
I don't think it's going to be incredibly relevant.
No,
but
the red deck's creatures are very small, and you'd really rather just draw cards.
I mean, the other downside of bringing Argos Blood fast, Lyra just isn't just a fast clock on its own. But look, the Knight of Grace plus History of Banana is also a very fast clock.
You're not wrong.
It's like 3, then 5, then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This is gonna be really difficult.
And the colours red black famous for their inability to deal with enchantments.
Indeed.
Both of those enchantments are going to stick around, and this is going to get ugly.
Fuller's taking his time to think through his outs.
I can't see his hand very well. He's got up here.
There's a Lightning Strike, there's a Scrap Heap Scrounger, there's a Glory Bringer. I think there's a second copy of Argos Blood fast.
Good. There's an Hour of Glory, I think.
None of these are particularly exciting. I think you have to play Scrap Heap and Lightning Strike. You've got a double spell. And there's a Hazaret there as well.
Yeah. Alex gets a second Knight.
Alex is now attacking for 5. Oof, and a Benelish Marshal.
Well, we have the Lightning Strike for it, but
that does mean that Alex is getting through for 5 damage if you kill the
down
Benelish Marshal.
Well,
he's saving damage.
okay. He's just dead though, isn't he? Has
He
he
will-
got like Hour of Devastation? I
No.
didn't see him sideboard that in.
Which means I think he's pretty much...
Bontu's Last Reckoning?
Scrappy can't even block, so this is...
He needs a Wrath or he's dead.
Then I'm afraid I think he's pretty much dead then.
Even
Yes.
if he has spot removal for the Benelish Marshal, like play Chandra, ticket down, kill Marshal, still take a go to 1.
Yeah.
Here comes into play tapped, Dance does the Thopter.
It's not a great position. I think this is Phil's final breaths.
Yeah, it's impossible for him to block next turn, right? Because any creature he plays come into play tapped and the Scrounger can't block anyway. Yeah.
Takes 8 damage here.
Get in with the Scrounger, why not?
I guess if you had a shock, that's pretty much... Shock would be good.
Shock would be good. It would save him quite a lot of damage here.
Got to do it in response to that trigger though.
Yeah, I don't believe he's holding them.
He's got another Argos Blood fast, and they're so dead in multiples.
Yeah. I mean, usually you can draw enough cards that the second one doesn't matter, but he's on such a fast clock.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why I didn't like bringing it in, because there's just so many.
And that's
game. That was a very fast game.
Yeah, I think that attack wasn't quite lethal, but there was no way Phil could win.
It wasn't. It would have put Phil to 1, but there's not a single card that Phil could have brought in. So this is Phil's sideboard. Hour of Glory, a Glory Bringer, 2 Argos Blood fast.
And that's 2-1.
Very well done to you.
So no, wrong way around.
Yeah. Very well
So
done.
that's FNM over. We're waiting on 2 matches still to find out the final standings. But it looks to me like one of these 2 players will win FNM.
And currently the best breakers belong to Phil, having been undefeated to this point. So he could very well have lost this final round and still gone to win.
I'd say that's likely unless Sam wins.
2-1.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sam's already finished, and he can't move up the standings. So we've got. I might try and show this on stream. Oh, I can't. I'm not able to do that now.
No. Interesting.
Joe still playing, and so Joe and Oliver are still playing these 2. So if Joe wins, he may well win FNM, except he's playing against Oliver, who will have only won 50% of his rounds. So Joe's Breakers will go down from 61 to probably the same as Alex.
Interesting.
So I think Phil's going to win FM, but we'll have to see what happens. Do you want to play a game of Arena or play a game on camera?
What would you like to do? Play a game on camera?
Yeah, although who will we get to commentate?
Oh, that's true. We don't have anyone to commentate. We could get Phil and Alex Pegler in here to commentate. The two of them.
They can chat about their game.
Yeah. Let's ask them to come in and.
So what do we have to do to talk and stuff?
You open your mouth and noises come out of it.
Really?
We're on live.
You are live.
So,
That goes
please
back
don't
quite
I'm
a lot.
Alex.
Yeah, please don't.
This is,
Phil, the loser.
and together we are going to commentate on
A
George.
format that I know literally nothing about.
I'm not a million miles behind you, but we're going to keep this nice and light and entertaining. And
Do you
basically,
want to talk quickly about our game?
yeah,
watch
always
the
a
game, or-
really tough matchup. Red-black.
You think?
I think it's the premier deck in the format for a
Of
reason.
course it is, yeah. But I think
I have to make an admission on stream, which is that my deck actually hasn't changed from the store championships,
that you want.
where I did, but
You're going for modern. Oh,
Yeah.
I know slightly more about modern than
So I'm on
that.
Blue
Yeah,
White
but-
Miracles and George is on Red Green Eldrazi.
Okay. I know a little bit about Red Green Eldrazi, know nothing about Miracles.
But,
But I know that when you top deck it, it's good.
yeah.
That's
So going back to the store championship, I knew that none of our control players were turning up. So at that point, I knew that the most likely person to meet in the finals would be on red-black. Therefore, I have a sideboard which is literally 8 cards designed to mess with it. Yeah. So 4 Lyras, like Authority of the Consoles. I've even got the horses in that gave me life.
Yeah.
So
I apologise for trolling the stream in the first game where I was dead probably 6 or 7 turns before. Right, what have we got here? Red Green Eldrazi with...
yeah, that's a fetch land that's going. I imagine he'll be looking for a land
Shop.
with that.
Yeah, a land, yeah.
Yeah.
Top quality stream here, boys.
Yeah.
And ladies. Oh, non-binary.
I was right, look, it's a land.
It is a land, and it's a stream-friendly
Expedition, 'cause it's
expedition,
George.
of course.
George
Yeah.
has lovely land.
Yeah. Oh, and that is a.
That's a creature.
Stop playing foils, George. We can't see
I
them.
believe that might be a noble hierarch.
Okay, beautiful.
I think it's the
D promo from GP.
PP.
Was it GP? No, RPTQ.
RPTQ.
Yeah,
isn't it?
beautiful art, and
then you got
followed
Reality Shaper.
by a great card.
Yeah.
So I don't know what interaction Rob would have early game.
No, well, this is all going to be about.
I mean, what
Can
miracles is he looking to
can
stop
George run over?
Yeah,
Him?
which he can with the right draw, surely.
Yeah, I think he's got under the radar
Has
now.
he
That's
got-
a Bloodbraid Elf, so
Nice.
he's going to
What we're
cascade now.
cascading into. This chair is dangerous.
That's fine, mate. So
Okay.
he is.
If I fall out of shot,
He's
everybody,
cascading
then
into
I'll try and
another
work it.
creature, which is quite dangerous
Is
for
that another?
Rob.
Yeah.
I haven't got a clue. He's so
What's-
shiny.
Yeah. What's Rob casting now?
That's
As we say, I know nothing about.
we're doing our best for you here, lads.
which is terrible.
I don't know if anyone's. Yeah. Oh, wait, is that someone talking there?
I mean, it's plenty of pressure, to put it that way. Path.
Oh, the Path to Exile was key there.
Has he got any basics? I'd imagine he runs the odd basic.
Yeah, there's going to be basics in there. But yeah, I mean, when you look at the board that George has got there,
Yeah.
you know, if you're his opponent, you're just thinking to yourself, you know, it's game over because I can't even tell what's attacking me because it's so shiny.
Yes, it's like you need sunglasses to play against.
I'm loving that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a foil man at heart, aren't you, Peg? So.
Mate, foils make the world go round. That's a reality smasher that's just
that
come
is
back.
a reality smasher smashing round.
Now,
Oh,
okay, there's a
so,
pass to
yeah,
exile,
path
but
to-
he is
but
going
he's
to
gonna
have to
discard.
He's going to have to discard a card here. Wonder what he's going to discard.
Yeah. Let's go, my man Ash.
Good.
Top man. The legend.
The printer ain't
The
working.
myth. The printer's not.
It's alright.
He's just waved the Snapcaster in front of the Bloodbraid Elf as well.
Yeah.
Great block
Nice.
there.
So he's weathering the storm a little. I mean, Noble Hierarch means that the Eldrazi not Skyspawn, what is it? The red. Again, sorry, we literally know nothing about most of these cards.
Yeah.
I will admit I did actually play Eldrazi, colourless. No, banned Eldrazi in Modern for a while.
There you go.
So I
you
should
know
know a
some
little
of them.
bit more, but yeah.
Doesn't help that you've got all the promos and everything there. That's
Yeah.
Ancient Stirrings, isn't it?
Yeah. Ancient
So I
Stirrings,
know the card is
quality
Ancient
card.
Stirring. I can't tell you what
There
it
we
does.
go, gas again.
Yeah,
This is-
Reality Smasher.
Rob's got two blue up, so see if he's cast any permission. Do you know anything about miracles, like white blue miracles? What he could be hoping to miraculously reveal off the top?
I don't know. Probably the white one.
Okay. What does that do? The destroy all creatures, or
Entreat the
just the
angels.
white
I
one?
think there's an entreat the
Okay,
angels.
so
in that
Gideon
miracle.
Jura, is that?
That's Gideon. So that's more my kind of thing.
Okay, double bolt. That'll
yeah.
do it. Nice.
So just to make you all aware as well, just in case you think it's Phil Dyke and Alex that's playing this,
Yes,
it
no,
it
it's
says
not.
at the top it is, but it's actually not. That's from the old game. So
But we have no idea how to.
so George is
change
on the
names and-
droids doodah,
Yeah. Star
and
Wars.
Rob's on the other one,
Pegless Matt, champion Matt.
Champion Matt.
Quite beautiful. How do you feel about that, Matt? Did you get as emotional as I did when I won mine?
A little bit. I hadn't won one in about 12 months. So
I've never won one in 12 attempts of being.
Do you
in
know
the
what?
final.
There's very few people that I've been so happy to see
Yeah,
win
I
a match.
appreciate
I've been
No,
most of your not the ones that you go because you went to a lot that weren't based at the store.
Yeah.
But you know, I was there for the majority of the ones where you have been at the store. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah. Do you know? It's weird. On the way to store. When Seth Manfield won the Pro Tour, he said that he was in this really weird stage that he knew like 3 or 4 turns before that he'd got the match. So it was this really weird feeling of for 4 turns knowing that he'd won the Pro Tour. And so he was able to kind of enjoy it. And the weird thing, I thought about that the day that I came, and playing Cedric in the final, I knew literally 3 turns before that there was no draws because I'd got the Glory Bringer in hand. I knew 3 turns before that I'd definitely got, and it was the weirdest feeling.
It was lovely because I finished my game early, so I was actually watching you two in the finals.
Yeah.
And
bad matchup as well, isn't it?
bad matchup. You navigated it beautifully. Yeah,
you.
No, you did. It was brilliantly done. Your poker
was-
face was brilliant.
Yeah.
But Cedric's face, God bless him.
Poor Cedric. He's been in a few finals, to be fair.
Has he?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
For you though, how many times have you been in a final? And then
I think it's 11. I think it's something like 11. It's been a lot, and I've lost every single time except for the last time.
Which is just awesome because once you've won one,
I don't know why it means so much to me. It wouldn't mean that much to me to day 2 a GP. It meant so much to me. I don't know why.
That for me, funnily enough, when I day 2'd my first GP, similar thing. I've been to 4, 5 GPs, and literally it always came down to the last match.
Yeah.
And I always
Never
lost on the
managed
last
to
match,
get
you
into
know. And it was always, and basically, it's the thing that you want.
Yeah.
That you should, in theory, be able to do, but always just elude you, and that's exactly what you had with that playmat.
Yeah. That's right.
But my favourite one was the GP in Liverpool, and in my last match, I sat down against my. So I'm sat down against my opponent, and he said,
"What does he take?
I'll be all right if." As long as you're not playing Stormbreath Dragons.
Yeah.
And I was on Mardu Dragons at the time with like 4 of them. He was on Mono White Devotion.
Just rub your hands
Not Devotion, sorry, Mono White, whatever it was at the time. And I should have smashed him and literally couldn't draw anything. any good and flooded out and died to it.
I was going to say, so Rob's got the second path. It's an easy target.
Yeah, absolutely.
You get to
he gets his card back, doesn't he?
Yeah. And you're taking a 4/4 off the board. Noble Hierarch could make it a 5/5 as well.
I don't miss the Eldrazi. Do you miss the Eldrazi?
I did love playing the Bant version, but I think the red green's probably better. There we go,
though.
Rob's favourite card.
Oh, Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Yeah, we're going to see some business. This could be interesting now. This is, Rob's in a decent position, clear board, and what's he going to do? Is he going to mind slave him? Is that what it's?
Yeah, let's go with mind slaving.
Mind slave. No, he's looking at his own. Oh, has he got no cards in hand? Has he got?
No,
has he got a couple?
I think he's got a few. He needs to,
But you've got to say on 16 life, clear board, Jace in play.
Looking very tasteful.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Well, yeah. That's an answer to Jace the Mind Sculptor. Yeah. What do you think? I mean, what do you think to Jace? The Jace to Fairy debate? Jura, nice.
I think a blend of the two works really nicely.
Yeah.
I appreciate you can play multiple copies of the same name Planeswalker.
Yeah.
But Teferi in his own right, I think is nearly as good.
Yeah.
But they're both doing different things. Heaven forbid you end up with both of them down, at which point I think it's just
scoop.
It's game over, isn't it?
Yeah. Unless you enjoy.
What's it going to cascade into? They were dismembers, promo dismembers there.
Yeah. Foil blood braids as well. I mean, there's literally no let up with the foiling, is there?
Well, you know, George is a
man of taste.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another, right, okay, so surely now Rob's in a commanding position, still on a relatively high lifetime. Yeah, I mean, 2 Planeswalkers in play, surely this is some, you know, interactive Planeswalkers as well.
Potentially, yeah. Well, with this game, I would always, it depends on what he's got in his hand as well.
I mean, I guess the red-green can kill from, you know, almost nowhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you get a decent blood braid sort of cascade and...
Is
that Sky Sovereign?
Yeah, it's a shiny Sky Sovereign.
That is an incredible... I didn't expect that.
When was the last time you saw that in Modern?
Yeah, I mean, when was the last time you saw it in Standard? It's not been around for a couple of months, has it?
It's been a good card.
An amazing card. But...
Here we got Thought Not Seer coming to... Is it put? No, to hand.
Wow, so...
Yeah.
He's really pulled this back. I mean, that is some real good answers to Planeswalkers that he's got.
Yeah.
Wow, the Planeswalker train keeps on rolling. So that is Jace Bellerin, is it?
I believe so. Yeah.
Again, the stream where we virtually know nothing about and it's not even like they're like obscure cards. They're
these
like
are,
some of the most famous cards in Magic, and you know we're struggling. To be fair, we've got the excuse that they're foiled, most of them.
No, that's definitely. But then
that's
you think that my expertise would come in, which is shiny things.
Exactly. So you should be able to see through the glare. Is that another blood braid? No, that's a Noble Hierarch promo.
Yeah, that's the promo.
I'm going to stick my neck out and say that's a Noble Hierarch promo. Not great on this board. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Yeah, just a gorgeous card, regardless.
It's one of the best cards ever printed, I think.
Yeah,
it's got to be up there, isn't it?
Yes,
he's playing so many so many decks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think we're doing quite well of bluffing this.
Absolutely.
If you're watching this now, I don't know who's going to be watching it.
I mean, I'm assuming that we sounding better than even the Don, Rob, and George.
Mate, the Bants are there, aren't they?
The Bants are there, for sure. Yeah. The Bant train is rolling on.
I think, right.
So he's got a thought. Is the thought not just hit the battlefield?
I didn't see, to be honest.
Okay, it can't have done because...
Oh no, he's the Reality Smasher.
He's the Reality Smasher.
He's got to have something good here.
Why is the Reality Smasher?
What is that?
Oh, there's an Eldrazi Temple.
Is that Engineered Explosives?
Oh, is that a concession because of...
I believe so,
It can't have been Engineered Explosives, it's not an instant, is it? But,
I think he played it to say, I have this in my hand and I can't do anything and I'm dead.
Okay, that's probably more likely. And that
there's also a good chance that it wasn't Engineered Explosives and I've just made that up and it just didn't work.
It looked like Engineered Explosives, but I thought, why is he playing? But yeah, I'd assume he has just scooped by saying all I have.
What's funny with Modern is because I don't play an awful lot of it. I have my favourite pet decks, but I recognise the cards and I
Yeah.
can name them.
Yeah.
But if you ask me to tell you what the text was on them,
Yeah.
because I don't play a lot of it, like engineered explosives, it blows everything up, doesn't it? I think. And
It's,
you put tokens on it. or
so
something?
yeah, so you can cast it to put XX, I believe, on it, and then you can pay 2 or 3 to blow it up, and
It's
you can
something along
destroy.
those lines.
Yeah, destroy.
Yeah.
What I played this card. I had it in a deck, and I still don't know. I still don't remember what it does, which is shocking. I mean, I don't know what. We need to find out of Rob what miracles would have got him out of that, because
Yeah.
it looked a pretty one-sided matchup. Although, like I say, I don't know if George has kind of built the deck.
Probably
with
why
Rob
he
in
offered to
mind.
play. Yeah, he's probably offered to play against Rob because he knows he's going
He's
to
going
win.
to absolutely smash his face in with his foil goodness. I mean, that wasn't even close in the end, was it? I mean, I thought that was a control player's dream with two of the best planeswalkers in the format. Theoretically,
I just think with the Eldrazi creatures
yeah,
and that deck, it's just they're so powerful in what they're doing.
yeah,
You know, I've got a Jace. Bang! It's 5 power of hasty,
yeah,
trampling goodness. Yeah,
that you can't deal with without chucking another card.
And I mean, it was a vile card when it was in standard.
I mean, to Wizards' credit, they have done a good job of bringing Eldrazi down to a level that is still playable,
Yeah, I mean,
not completely broken.
They had to fix it
it's not
originally because you remember that
the Eldrazi winter.
The Eldrazi winter.
Yeah.
I think everyone remembers that. Even if you weren't playing modern, it was all over everything. You
Yeah.
know, the mana was broken. They needed to, rein it in a little bit.
Yeah.
But, I think they are some of the best creatures that we've seen. As a little family.
Yeah.
It's
Kev.
It's Kev.
There's the
Got
big
guest
man.
streamers, have we?
We're just talking utter rubbish and nonsense.
Just pretty much like normal. Isn't
We've got George playing a completely full deck where we can't see what any of the cards are, and Rob's playing miracles,
is this
and
the
we don't
modern
know
or
what
legacy
anything
deck?
does. It was modern. I'm assuming they're still playing modern. Yeah, they're still playing. So we've got Eldrazi Temple. I know what that does.
And that's a
makes things-
Steam Vents, is it?
No, I think it was the
that's
fetch land.
yeah, it's got to be the.
I knew
look at
that.
that
Yeah,
one,
no,
that's
it's
Yeah.
the.
I mean, you get a Steam Vents off it if you want, but it's
That's what I was thinking, but yeah, no, it's the.
the really expensive fetch land. That
Yeah,
we
which
I mean,
is-
it's the most iconic fetch land, and we can't even remember.
Not Arid Messer, because that's the
No,
red
that's
white
the
one.
one.
That's
Yeah.
the red white one.
So, come on, Kev, you've got to know.
Blue-
Help us
blue-
out.
blue
We're
red.
dying on
Blue red
stream here,
red.
Kev.
You're
We're dying on
not
stream.
dying.
We are.
You're
We're
fine.
literally dying on stream here.
Yeah, so the red.
I don't mean
the
literally.
red-
What is? Oh, that's his Eldrazi Obligator. So it's
Obligator? That's
two-
not. That's
two
the.
in red.
That's the Mattery shape.
Oh, that is. I thought it was the Eldrazi.
But the Eldrazi Obligator is the card that we couldn't remember earlier, which is the red version of
and then
the
it's got
Sky
it's got the cast enter the battlefield
Yeah.
trigger where you can
Beautiful.
steal someone.
So if you had been here, Kev, the viewers that have probably gone now,
Yeah.
would have had some real content rather than
Yeah,
just
so somebody
two-
post out hello if you're still listening to this rubbish that we're talking.
Yeah. Never mind the printer. You want to sort that green screen out. Why? Because you can only see half of me. Believe me, this is doing me favours,
might be-
right? There is enough of me that if it trims a little bit
Ooh,
off,
Jace.
you know what I mean. The green screen's all right.
George has got a
Delver,
Mindstone and
brainstorm, days. So we've got people teaching
It's
us.
the bit on your hat as well. It looks
Yeah.
like your head's like sort of pretty much.
Take the hat
That could
off.
be yeah, but then my hair.
Don't worry about it, mate. Look at my hair.
Thank you.
In fairness, your,
Actually, no, put the hat on.
your hairman might be a
Peg,
bit
your hair's disappeared as well. Is that an
looks
optical
like a
illusion as well,
reality
Peg? Or
smasher.
Yeah.
is that?
This actually, yeah. It's,
You've got a full mop of hair there, really.
Yeah,
but you
I mean,
can't
just
see
a-
that
it's-
because of the.
Well, stop playing with my hair, Kev. You know I don't like it when people run my hands through my long hair.
Right. Anyway,
It's
back
dyed
to
green, isn't it?
yeah,
So,
back to being serious. So we've got
Right.
reality smasher.
what's the
And
checklist
resolution.
card? Do you think?
Probably search for his
Legion's Landing.
If
I
he's,
would've
if
thought.
he's playing
Legion's Landing in modern. Yeah, I like
Nah,
it. I
I'm
like
pretty
it.
sure it's search for his counter.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
research for
Oh. So is that a Terminate? Terminus? Is the Miracle Terminus?
Yep, goes to the
Yeah.
bottom.
A
of the
new
library.
card. Get in.
Well done.
Thank you. Sorry if the clap was a bit loud.
It's fine. I think I'll leave you guys to it. You're doing really well.
I don't think we are, Kev. Just
But
leave
they're-
the sinking ship. Is
they're
that
not
what
called
you're
Alex
saying?
Pegler and Phil Dyke, though, are they?
No, we've already discussed that, haven't we? We have cleared that
Yeah.
up, to be fair. We are professional.
Oh wait, it's The names are for you, are they?
Yes.
Change them here.
Yeah, this is the commentators. Oh, Pegley, you did know how to do it.
But they are the other way around for some reason. So.
Right, so we've got a beautiful textless bolt. I know that card.
Yeah.
What
does bolt do?
It does 3 damage to target player or any target now.
After
Yes,
they're after, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll come off stream.
No, please stay, Kev.
Yeah, okay, fine.
What's the colourless card in the top right?
That's
Another
Mindstone.
colourless one. Mindstone. What does that do, Kev?
So you can tap it to draw. You can tap to make colourless, I believe, and you can.
Is it that?
Another concession?
Oh no, looks like it's a concession. Yeah.
No, it's red green.
It's red green.
Yeah, red green.
Yeah. Why have you put his? That's also not how you spell his name, I think.
It is.
So I think we've successfully discovered
very good.
that it's a very good matchup for red green Eldrazi.
I am going to leave you guys to it.
Thanks,
Kev.
Kev. Can you
Leave the
go
sinking
get me
ship.
my free cannon pop that I get for streaming?
What about for winning? Oh no, I'm still going to have won F&M, aren't I?
Yeah, so the standings after that, even though I won,
Really?
and the thing puts me in 3rd.
And I mean, I'm still in a dominating opponent win percentage position. I mean, that's a clear 6 points. We had literally no idea what your cards were doing. I got Terminus right.
Yeah.
It looked a terrible matchup, Rob.
Yeah, I got annihilated.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I was saying you had Jace the Mind Sculptor and Gideon Jura on the battlefield, a clear board and 16 life. I was like, this is Rob's dream.
I should have won that game.
Right, okay.
Top Director's one-off Count Sovereign.
Yeah, we were like, we couldn't believe that was in the deck. We
What's
were
that?
like, the
Sky
Sovereign.
Sovereign.
It's obviously amazing,
Such a
but
good card.
yeah, that was. It looked a bad matchup.
Yeah.
Because, like I say, 16 life, two incredible planeswalkers, nothing on the battlefield.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah.
So yeah, right. Well,
Right, well, thank you very much,
Yeah.
guys. I hope you've enjoyed our amazing commentary.
yeah, we'll pass
and
you
have
back
learned
to the.
something. It's important that
You've
you
probably
learn
got
stuff.
no viewers left, I'm afraid.
One copy of Sky Sovereign in
That was incredible. It was. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. It brought it back, but
Can't believe
Anyway.
that can't see modern play.
cheers, boys.
Thanks very much. Right, is that all our results then?
Looks like it.
So we can print our final standings and get some prizes sorted. So, in reverse order, we have Rick Eaglestone, Luke McKean, Kev Saunders, Oliver Pass, Sam Cook. Top 4, all on 9 points. We have Justin in 4th, Alex Pegler in 3rd, Joe Quilty in 2nd, and Phil Dyke in 1st. So that is 4 players all on 9 points here.
Wow.
So we will print those standings out.
Is it new F&M promo week?
No.
No.
No. Not till Guilds of Ravnica comes out.
Oh yeah. It's
Right.
Still the same, it's not the
So
end of
we're
the month,
going
is it?
to call this stream to an end there. Thanks very much for tuning in, and join Rob and I on Monday for some Magic Arena. Cheers, everyone.